Welcome back to the best damn comic book show on all the interwebs. We've got the Comics Aficionados live on Christmas. Welcome back, everybody. I'm so sorry. We had an unscheduled power interruption just happen, and it took a while for the internet signal to get back. But we are here, and I've got a fantastic panel of nerds to talk about some comic book stuff. We're going to talk about some Christmas stuff, and of course, we're going to give some of our picks for the best comics that you could find in all of 2021. All right, who we got here on the panel? We had a question for you, Aaron Sparrow. Someone was asking for spoilers regarding Young Justice.
Oh, I can't give you any of that. I can't give you spoilers. I signed an NDA. The full weight of the legal department will come down on me.
Okay, so there's no spoilers regarding Young Justice?
Yeah, no spoilers. Sorry, I just apparently was accidentally calling 911.
Oh, no.
I was concerned about you, Wes. I was like, someone go check on Wes.
All right, Aaron. So, obviously, you are one of the writers on Young Justice Season 4, the man behind Darkwing Duck. How are you doing this Christmas?
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have not have to go work a show and actually be able to come and appear on Comics Aficionados. Doesn't happen that often.
Well, I'm glad that you can make it. Next up, we've got Skip. Skip, people might not realize this, but you just celebrated your birthday. Happy birthday, buddy.
Oh, thank you so much. Very, very kind of you.
So how you feeling? Do you feel you're older? You feeling a year younger?
I feel bloated. I don't know what that means.
I know what that means.
People tell me I've been full of it since the day I've gotten to this planet. So I guess not much has changed in 36 years.
There you go. We've got a super chat. Thank you so much from Federico De La Casa for the €5. Merry Christmas to everybody. Finished round one here in Italy at the table. We had shitty comics this year, but I assured to have a fine homemade meal. Well, it sounds delicious. I hope you had some wonderful Italian food. I've never had an Italian Christmas. I've only done what did I do at Christmas? I did it in Spain one year. That was
Wes,
nice.
Christmas is very big amongst the Italians. Sweet potato parmesan, turkey cacciatore. Come on.
That's what it is, sweet potato parmesan.
You've never seen My Blue Heaven?
I have seen My Blue Heaven, but it's been about
big
30 years.
The Italians.
So thank you very much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Who else we got here? We've got Eric Breen making a rare appearance on the Comics Aficionados. The comic book hoarder himself, the voice of the voiceless, the man so cool they call him the Breen. How you doing, Breen?
I'm just happy to have, been in the rotation to the point to where, like I said, when 2 or 3 or 4 dozen people couldn't make it, that I was available.
Oh, come on, you're the reason this is happening. You said, are you doing the aficionados on Christmas Day? That's a Saturday.
Yeah,
if you are, I can make it. I was like, I hadn't really.
Please let me do one, Wes.
No, I hadn't
come to your windows.
Put 2 and 2 together. I was like, oh, that is going to be difficult. I was like, absolutely, let's do it. It's
I said the same thing. I was like, I'll get up early. That'll be my Christmas present to you, Wes. I'll get up at 7, at 6:30 a.m. to be here at 7, California time.
Well, I appreciate that, but in the in the spirit of Christmas, every year you have to get bigger after that, right? Once you set a precedent, the next year you have to go even bigger.
That's true.
So, be expecting Aaron Sparrow live here on the channel next Christmas.
Aaron Sparrow on ice.
We seem to have a lot of people celebrating Christmas in the comments, so I hope everyone's having a wonderful holiday. We've also got Drew from Comics Elite, Born of Blood, doing fantastic, $65,000 and counting on Kickstarter. You're having a wonderful Christmas.
I'm having a very Merry Christmas, yes, and I got my Festivus pole right behind me, keeping me company. Got to keep everything in perspective. Can't get it too big of a head, but yeah, it's a very Merry Christmas, and I'm glad to be here on Christmas morning.
It's got to be Aaron. Drew, what are we doing? The feats of strength. And
I did that yesterday with my brother. That was fun. We had our little airing of grievances as well, so that was good.
And last but not least, we do have the Batman aficionado, the man behind DC Comics. He knows everything about the comic book industry. He's also knows a thing or two about writing. We've got Josh McDonald from PopEyeCulture.com. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing well. I have pants on this morning, so that's a plus. That's a change for Saturdays. Fun little Christmas
Absolutely.
fact for all you people watching. No,
And
I'm
if you
good. It's
haven't-
Christmas. Go ahead.
I was just saying, if you haven't gone over and checked out Pop by Culture, you should be expecting some big things in 2022. Josh he's been compiling all this wonderful content to release and it's been a soft release so far, and he's heading, bigger and better in the new year.
Yeah, we've got daily posts that are going to come up where we're going to kind of explore the Golden Age issue by issue with different characters. So we'll be using some Golden Age omnibuses and masterworks. So I know Breen will probably enjoy that. I've already partnered with Joe Corello, and we're going to do a little video called Print Screen where we talk about different movies and the comics that inspired them. And we're going to have what I call Saturday morning cartoons where we revisit some classic comic book cartoons. So that'll just be starting off, and there'll be more coming as we move throughout the year. So excited to get that fully launched. I don't know if you can tell, this is an exhaustion voice from day job and preparing, but I'm ready to go.
All right, Josh, are you going to be doing the Millie the Model Golden Age omnibus? We're getting some Millie the Model in there.
I mean, it's not on the slate, but if people demand it, I shall deliver.
Wait a minute.
If you need an expert on Millie the Model, Eric Green has every issue. I can tell you that right now.
I demand this now. I demand it.
See?
Damn.
Within arm distance, he's been.
That was quick too. It was right there.
Yeah, that was not set up. Just Eric had it on lock.
Is there an omnibus, or were you kidding, Wes?
I was just trying to give Josh crap. I didn't know it was going to turn into a real thing here.
Hey, you almost made my Christmas. Thanks, Wes.
Oh, my bad. Well, maybe it's out there. That's a Joe Corallo question. That's not a Wes question. You know about old omnibuses. I do want to say thank you very much to MVP Maxfield Vaughn Priestley, one of the great villainous names in all of YouTube. He's not a bad guy. He's a great guy. He's been on the Aficionados. Got his own comic book YouTube channel. If you haven't checked him out, definitely go type in Maxfield Vaughn Priestley and check out his YouTube channel. I think you'll like it. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Yippee-ki-yay and Merry Christmas, everyone. And we definitely had Die Hard on the Christmas movie marathon rotation today. It was quite some fun. So thank you very much. And I hope you're having a wonderful holiday.
Is Gremlins in your rotation, Wes?
Gremlins was not in the rotation, but I regret it now because that's more of a kid-friendly with a scary edge type of film. It probably would have been more appropriate for the 6-year-old than Die Hard.
Does Gremlins 2 take place at Christmas too?
What's that?
Does the sequel take place at Christmas too?
No.
It doesn't. Don't the Futtermans come to visit like for the holidays?
Yes.
I mean, I know it's not a huge backdrop, but it's still around Christmas time.
Maybe.
I'm gonna look that up. Actually, that's a good question.
And I haven't seen Gremlins 2 in like 40 years, so
it's better than Gremlins 1 in my opinion. I know that's not a popular opinion, but
get out of here with that stuff. You're no one's gonna trust you to write Young Justice with words like that. We do have Ronnie Boy Comics with the 250 peso super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel right here in the Philippines. Hello, West and the Aficionados. Maligayang Pasco. Just had our late dinner and fun games with my family. Hope everyone's doing okay. Stay safe, everyone. And again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Gives us a thumbs up and a fist bump. Fist bump back to you. Thank you so much, Ronnie Boy Comics. It's a little bit late here. It's about 11:30 in the Philippines, and I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Christmas is a little bit different here in the Philippines. You get like a catered meal and stuff. You just have people deliver food the day before, and you just eat on it for 2 or 3 days. So hopefully you had a lot of fun. All right. Have we done the pleasantries? No, I haven't done everybody. Yeah, I have. Yes, I did. We got to Josh, the Popeye culture guy. There we go. Let's get right into it. We got a few comic news topics we're going to hit, but we're going to intersperse it with some more fun stuff. So we did have Marvel Comics replacing the Punisher logo in 2022, seemingly placating them up. Now, it could have been just odd timing. I know, Drew, you wanted to talk about this. Your blood was boiling? Was that what happened?
Yeah, you should have seen Sean. Sean, I mean, he's a Marine, too. He's a former retired Marine, and he was pissed. He was livid. I was livid. Kyle was livid. But no matter what Marvel does, this is always going to be the Punisher. End of the day, you're always going to be that logo. That's always going to be Frank Castle. It doesn't matter what Jason Aaron tries to do. Jerry Conway may have created it, as a knockoff character from that novel series, The Executioner, but it's Mike Baron, Chuck Dixon, Zach, Garth Ennis who really fleshed out the Punisher, made him who he is. And what they're doing now, this is just a joke. This is right up there with what they did in the late 90s, making him an angel assassin, whatever. This is not going to go down well. I'm very confident of that. And
I'd rather have
Jason Aaron is
Frankencastle
doing, this is a joke.
Yeah, I'd rather have Frankencastle than this version.
Yeah, there you go, Frankencastle. Yeah, when he did that, jeez.
No, it seems kind of weird, Aaron. Maybe if you're Marvel Comics, you can just throw away money like this. But you have one of your logos. It's not Spider-Man, but it's kind of close. It probably outshines the character itself. It's instantly recognizable when you see it, and you're just going to throw it down the drain. It seems like a really odd choice when you have an IP that is so well known and associated with the character.
Well, it speaks to Marvel's continued cowardice in the face of the Twitter mob. That's the audience that they cater to, even though there's no audience there. So, it doesn't surprise me that they're doing this. It doesn't surprise me that because Jerry Conway's out there, exacerbating the situation, going out there and being political, where the majority of people who know the Punisher don't know any other connotation or anybody using it. If someone you don't like the comics industry doesn't like starts using the Superman logo, are they going to change Superman's logo? Is that what we're going to do? It's absolutely ridiculous. They don't understand their audience anymore. They don't know what they're doing. It's all falling apart over there at Marvel. I don't know I don't know what else to say about it. I'm just so disgusted.
Yeah. All right, Breen, you seem like you're going to be the voice of reason on this one. Can you please back Marvel up on this?
I'm going to quote Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh, hell no. Okay.
Yeah, Will Smith. You're quoting Will Smith too. Oh, no, that's hell no.
Okay, we all know why they're doing this. And the same people that are behind Jerry Conway saying, listen to Jerry Conway, see the creator of the character, he's on board with it. Those are the same people that will say, shut up, Rob Liefeld. All you did was write the first Deadpool story. So it's all, again, to please this nebulous group of non-existent fans on Twitter. And my prediction is at the end of the 13th issue, they're going to kill them off. I think at this point, they are willing to leave that money on the table to, I hate to use to virtue signal.
You're right. I mean, they're either going to make him a villain or they're going to kill him off. It's going to be one of the two. So,
or I think both. They'll become a villain and they'll have to take him out. And if you look at the picture that they showed with the new logo, he looks like a 25-year-old junior accountant. So, yeah. Everything. There's no Frank Castle left in that character. And I just reread the 2 Punisher Barracuda stories. And if any of you guys read that series, if you find a trace of that Frank Castle in there, let me know.
This is the Frank Castle right here, the Garth Ennis, the Punisher Max. God, I will be recommending that to the day I die.
If it
had Garth Ennis in
or bust.
You know what, Wes? You got to have Jesse on sometime to talk about his take on Garth Ennis's Punisher.
I will do that.
It's a different take, and I think people will enjoy hearing it. I think it'll stir some controversy in the chat.
We were gonna get the viewers riled up. I don't mind that. We got Ryan Wilson supporting the channel. Thank you so much. I got an idea. Let's start using Captain Marvel and all the SJW characters in right-wing protest, and Marvel will get rid of them. Problem solved. I don't know if you're gonna get anyone wearing the big star with the. But hey, maybe it'll work. Show them how it's done. All right, Skip. What do you think on this? Is everyone going too far with this? Is it no big deal?
I don't want to say it's no big deal, but I think we all know that eventually it's going to go back. So I think it's just a matter of, letting them go through this and it not catching on. And then, Punisher will go away again for a long time or for, a significant amount of time until they feel the coast is clear. Because the only way that they can bring bigger attention from them changing the logo is them changing it back to what it was before. So I think it's just gonna, cycle itself out in the end.
So I'd agree with you if this were any other point in comics history, but I think we're at a point now where you're going to see some of these changes might actually become permanent because it doesn't fit it doesn't fit the audience they're trying to cultivate. It doesn't fit the message they're trying to convey. I hope you're right, but I don't know if I'll live long enough to see him cycle back.
I'd love to see
so.
I'd love to see some course correction just based off the recent success of Spider-Man No Way Home. The fact that you gave the audience what they wanted, you didn't market it with any kind of political message or any kind of this is a first, or you didn't push any agenda. You just said, here's a fun movie, and everybody responded to the tune of $500 million in the opening weekend without China. That is insanity. Especially when they've been telling us, Eternals didn't do well because of COVID. The Shang-Chi didn't really do that well because of COVID. It's like, no, it's because you're marketing things in a way that turns people off. It turns the normal audience off. And I don't understand as a corporation where you're going after this niche group on Twitter that doesn't have any money. These people don't have any money. They don't turn up to spend whenever you give them what they want. But then you have something like Spider-Man where you give the fans what they want, and what do? They open their wallets. So that is a lesson that needs to be learned. It's like that meme. How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? It's like, just go with where the money is. I don't understand a corporation that doesn't aim for the largest demographic possible. I just don't get it.
Well, I don't get why Breen's letting you make fun of him. Don't let him call you an old man like that, Breen. You're young.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear him.
Wes is trying to start trouble. Eric.
I'm sorry, I was trying to get
Speak
a
up,
tweet
Sonny.
out. I was trying to keep things going. It happens every once in a while. We do have a couple of super chats I want to acknowledge. We've got Callum Lyle. Thank you so much, all the way from Australia. Merry Christmas. Is Jason Aaron going to be the Tom King of Marvel? Only likes living. I don't know. I don't think he's I think he's more Bendis than Tom King personally. He's just trying to do the same things over and over, but he's stretching out and he's watering everything down. That's my personal take on Jason Aaron. Then Federico De La Casa. How come Jason Aaron did that good Punisher Max Frank series have gone to be such a bad writer? He did. So did Brian Michael Bendis. Pert said that is a phase. We remember May. But how long are we going to wait? Three more years?
Well, back to what he said in that first question about the Frank series. That was set up that was the Garth Ennis universe. So he was writing within the Garth Ennis parameters. So he was already locked with what he could and couldn't do. So you can thank Garth Ennis for that mostly.
I don't know, Josh. Do you think Jason Aaron's going to have a career resurgence? Because it feels like he's pretty down right now.
I think it's one of those things that after he gets out of the spotlight for a little bit and kind of expectations lower, maybe, but it's going to be probably a good 10 years before you see it. I think it's what we tend to see with most comic book writers. They'll have, and that boom could just be one solid success, and then the publishers push them. And then after a period of time, when they can kind of settle and get back to what they were good at, they come back. But time will tell. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. Oh, we got another one. Rip Phoenix Jones. It's a damn good name, sir. That is a good handle. Tom King is the Brian Griffin of comics. Oh, come on. Don't treat Brian Griffin like that. He's got more life in him than
It's an insult to Brian. Jeez.
It's not cool. But thank you so much for supporting the channel. I don't skip it, Tosh. Just as far as changing the logo, I think no one likes it. What people seem to like even less is the actual logo itself. What do you think about it? Someone's saying it looks like a Shaolin logo or something. I think it looks like a dude bro tattoo when I was watching the UFC all the time in the early double aughts. You guys, they always have the stupid tattoos on them. What do you think, Skip? Is it a good logo?
The original logo by far is better in just about every iteration. I don't think it's
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it's the worst looking logo, all things considered, especially how they're taking them over into the hand, it appears, and everything. So it seems like like in that sense, it does seem like it fits the story, like design wise, but at the same time, I mean, for all of us who are so used to the Punisher's logo and how great it did look on his, body armor and everything, it does just look a little strange, like the horns going all the way up to like his collarbones and all that stuff. It's hard to have that one land on us in a way that just doesn't feel a little perverted, just because we're so used to it.
That logo looks like it looks like it should be on an energy drink.
Absolutely.
It doesn't look
It
like
looks like the Mandalorian, that creature logo from the Mandalorian. That's what it looks like.
Oh yeah, it looks like. You know what? The company might have to sue within the company.
Are you willing to put Drew's body where your mouth is? If he hits $100,000 on his Kickstarter, we can get him to get this new Punisher logo tattooed on him.
Drew,
I'm willing to do it. I support this idea. He's the one that put it in as a stretch goal.
Yes, I did. I opened myself up to that. So, in theory, that could be an option.
We can get it on your inner thigh, or we can put it, it could be a little tramp stamp. There's options here. Not everyone has to see it all the time. You know what I mean?
Yes, I hear you. Lower back.
I want the full Brock Lesnar back tattoo. That's what I want.
Well, with the front, where he's got the big sword, you can get it on the front. You go to the beach, press the chicks.
Put it where Frank did.
They'll be like, that guy owns an energy drink company.
But he really likes Mortal Kombat, doesn't he? Yes, he does like Mortal Kombat.
90s Mortal Kombat, because it is already that logo is already so dated. It looks like early 2000s. Edgelord kind of.
I love comics too much, and I respect Drew too much to ask him to do such an extreme thing. Drew, I hope you do make your stretch.
Asking, he has to do it.
Yes.
I feel so conflicted about that.
A lesson about guaranteeing tattoos.
No, I'm not here to teach him a morality.
A bad person.
Yeah, I just want him to reach 100,000. I don't want him to regret doing it.
I want him to reach 100,000 and learn a lesson.
I want him to want to reach 100,000 again. I don't want this to be the only time.
Well,
I'm rooting for the guy.
Let's think about stretch goals that are less permanent. I don't know. This Punisher logo thing might be a godsend for Drew in future campaigns.
All right, Papa Wes. I'll let you go for that one.
We do have a couple.
I'm just looking forward to your bad your bad Marvel decision sleeve that you're going to end up with by the end of all your campaigns.
Oh, God. We got a pretty good super chat here from Zach Richmond. I gotta acknowledge this. Tom King is the Meg Griffin of comics. I just want to tell him to shut up all the time. That is much more apt, I think. Aaron Sparrow, is Tom King the Meg Griffin?
Oh yeah. Oh definitely.
Tom, just get out of here.
Has he come out with a bullshit story lately to get attention? I just remember the
Batman Catwoman. We're gonna be talking about that on the channel on Monday with Doc.
I'm
Just
sorry.
shocker.
Actually, it'll be good to hear
from week list.
Yeah, let Doc tear into that because I was having a conversation the other day with a friend of mine, and we both had to admit that Tom King is probably a better writer than Bendis.
Oh, he's a much better writer.
Yeah, but his stories somehow leave you just as hollow and empty inside.
He's been doing the same bit for so long that there's nothing new he can do with it, and that makes it worse when you go in knowing what he's going to do. It sounds like perhaps he's learned his lesson. That's what he's claiming on social media. We shall see. We do have Uncle Frank. Now that is a damn good handle. I hope you really are an uncle, sir. Merry Christmas, gentlemen. That logo looks like Adrian Veidt's pet in The Watchmen combined with a sea creature.
And then grown in a Monster Energy can.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then sponsoring a UFC fighter in the double X. On his logo, his pants logo.
It almost
right
feels
above
like
the Burglar tattoo.
It almost it almost feels like when they were making this design, they were kind of like, all right, what can we do that people will not want to put on their car, shirts, body? Like, that's what it feels like. I'm not gonna lie.
They said we want to do something original here, fellas. The Punisher logo was timeless. What can we do that won't have a second? Like, we want to do the exact opposite. Like, yes, let's make this stupid Predator skull and place it on Frank Castle with some swords because he doesn't need guns. good changes. We've got Rip Phoenix Jones with his journey to Kunlun. Frank will be a white Japanophile. Diversity. It's important for Cebulski to identify with comics he's behind on reading. I don't know. Do you think he's going to get yellow fever this Aaron? Is that what the storyline's going to be?
No, I think that he's just going to get accused of racism and then have to hire the person who accused him of racism.
Could happen. Alyssa Wong is going to have to come in and clean up after Jason Aaron's mistakes.
Yeah, well, I
Can
mean,
you imagine an Alyssa Wong Punisher? I would love that.
We're going to get a 13-year-old girl as Punisher coming up after this run. Yeah.
We'll have the first Asian American Punisher.
It's about
because
time.
Again, you talk about writers that have one trick.
It's about time.
It's about time.
My good friend David Smith. This dude's awesome. He's really supported the channel. He sends me all the Bad Idea comics. This is how great this guy is. And he says that you guys should remember to like the stream. Definitely, if you want to support the channel and let people know that we're having a fun comic book centric conversation here, we're going to talk about Christmas movies and stuff too. Hit the like button. We definitely want people to know that we're having a good time and to come join us and have some fun here on this Christmas day. Melissa Wong Punisher will be 15 pages of talking about food. That's correct.
That's absolutely right. Right, what you know.
I'm sorry, Josh. I interrupted you. I did not mean to do that, sir.
No, you're good. I was going to comment. Third Rail put John Byrne.
All right. Is he cutting out for everybody? Or is it just me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I dropped. Am I back?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, Third Rail put John Bernthal is going to burn it to the ground in 2022. I think that's the thing to watch out for because Feige's already said he liked Bernthal and he liked Bernthal's Punisher. So I would say expect to see him somewhere at some point.
Yeah, well, he might have liked Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, and that didn't work out so well. Aaron Sparrow had harsh words. Let's just put it that way. And he's the nicest guy I know in comic books. Right, Aaron?
Really? Man. You need a better class of people, Wes.
Well, there's no better class of people than you'll find here on the Comics Aficionados in the live stream. We do have a question from Cal Lyle. Do you think Vita will end up like Mags? No. Mags has absolutely sabotaged their career with the things that they've done. I'm pretty sure they've been blacklisted from DC and Marvel Comics, and Vita is not on that path at all. No. I think Vita is pushing the envelope on what you could say on social media without getting fired, but I don't think that Vita's
she'll never be fired. She is too well protected, and just when it comes to like protected people, just the only way she is leaving is if she leaves of her own volition. That is it.
Fired? No, I would say fired. No. We may eventually see a point where she's just given less work because she obviously can't sell anything. Eventually, the bottom line does come for everybody. So unless some editor comes in and really kind of like helps her step up her game and expand her writing, and and she just suddenly finds this new reservoir of talent, I can see her kind of fading away. But I don't think she's gonna burn up in the atmosphere like Mags.
No. Well, we've got Wolfstein 3D Sims. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you to everybody, and I hope you're having a Merry Christmas. Comics being an IP farm for movies, they sure know how to damage an IP. This is weird how they do that, Skip. He was like, oh, there's this character everyone likes, and they're going to be a movie. Let's destroy him. Wow, people are excited about John Bernthal's Punisher being potentially in the MCU. Let's change the logo and take away the guts. All the aspects or many of the supporting aspects of the character that make them who they are.
Doctor Strange, anyone?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen comics, cut off their nose to spite their face. Many times. This is just going to be another one of them. But that's with as much pull as the movies and the TV shows and whatnot have, they've already established things, and they only follow the comics up to a certain point. In most cases, the more I watch, movies from the MCU and such, it seems like they only follow the comics up until the point that the comics don't make such great decisions, and I just can't see them falling in line. I can't see CB Cebulski getting through to Kevin Feige on why they need to spend possibly millions of dollars, but even easily hundreds of thousands of dollars, redoing, Punisher's suit and whatnot if John Bernthal does show up in the MCU. So,
yeah, weird stuff. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We got some great people. We got Chillmonger. I saw Kenneth Dowling. We got AL, King KDI Ablo show. Like everyone's having a nice Christmas morning here with us. Does anyone else have anything else to say about this Punisher logo, take away his weapons, and Jason Aaron?
Yeah, actually, I mean, the thing that you have to remember is that anytime what we're seeing the slow death of all of these comic book companies. And a huge part of it is the fact that once a comic book company is purchased by a large conglomerate that intends to use them as an IP farm, they now have to justify their existence. And the way that Marvel has decided to justify their existence is by trying to replace the things that have been successful, because this movie universe, actors get older, actors get more expensive the more time they spend in a role. So what Marvel decided a long time ago was Disney's going to want to replace these characters, so we need to be replacing them to justify our existence. It has not worked out for Marvel. It's not really worked out for the MCU, as they try and bring in these, as they try and replace the characters that we all love, like Captain America, Iron Man, with characters like Shang-Chi and the Eternals, and let's not pretend that Kevin Feige, that his every decision is good, because although he has had an amazing track record, he fumbled the ball recently with his decision on Eternals, which was, if you read his comments, it seems like it was made purely because he was like, here's a property that nobody cares about really, that I can race and gender swap around and give you a, diversity movie. And then they marketed that and it fell flat on its face, as so many of these things are, because what people are interested in is the things that they know, the things that they like, the things that they're familiar with, and they're interested in the story. What's the story? And that's, where, again, Spider-Man has just proven all of these things wrong. That, it's the pandemic, that's why people didn't show up. No. So that's the situation that you've got going with Marvel. And unfortunately, the creative bank there is not really creating anything that resonates with any comic fans, and not really with the greater audience. I mean, I don't think that the MCU has confidence in a lot of things that Marvel is doing. That's why when they take a character like Kate Bishop, they fundamentally change her personality to make her likable, because
Absolutely.
She's not likable in the comic book. She's not marketable. So, hopefully as these things move into the MCU, and it's sad for us as comic fans because we want to read great Punisher books, but as far as moving into the MCU and the larger pop culture arena, I think that you're going to see a more traditional Punisher if he comes into the MCU. You're going to see something that's more akin to John Bernthal's Punisher.
We've got MVP Maxfield Vaughn Priestley. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Got to head out, but we'll catch the replay. Loved hanging with your friends and talking about the best marine in comics. Simplify to you, brother. Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoy the replay. Breed, we had somebody say that they specifically came to this live stream for you, and you haven't talked in 10 minutes. Could you please say something to entertain the masses?
Well, I'm pretty sure whoever that was, I saw where someone said, you leave the age jokes to the professionals. So
shots fired, Wes.
I have a guy that just kills me on a weekly basis, and I told him I said if you ever the first
is his
time
name Pacemaker.
It's evil black cat, and knock it off. And I told him, I said, before we gave him a wrench, I said, if you ever don't make me laugh, I'm going to time you out. I never did. I don't know where he gets them, but I said, it's relentless. And he keeps me young.
I'm going to go ahead and make a bold statement.
Words of wisdom.
I declare Eric the best Breen since Neil.
Whoa. That's high praise. We've got a couple of super chats. We've got Wraith X7. Instead of changing his logo, they should just do a story where the Punisher goes after a violent far-right hate group for taking his symbol.
That's just lazy. That's even lazier.
Well, and I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody at Marvel to do it with any kind of like nuance or actual writing ability. I would expect that to just be an absolute trash comic. I mean, it's something that you could bring in a Chuck Dixon or a Mike Barron, and they could do a good job with it and actually tell a good story. But the unfortunately, Alana Smith remembers who they voted for, so they're not going to have any work at Marvel anytime soon.
Well, listen, that's recently promoted editor, Alana Smith, no longer assistant editor. Move it up. There we go. We got Kenneth Dowling. Hello, most wonderful panel, and Merry Christmas to you all. Mr. Breed, love your retrospective videos. 100% agree on everything you said, Aaron Sparrow.
Oh.
So now Breen is right and Sparrow's right. This guy. He's always pumping up the panel members, but never me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe I was right once. What do you think about that, Kenneth?
You're the host. Don't get full of yourself.
Oh, I'm full of something. I'm full of something, but not myself. Now, Breed, we do have a Christmas retrospective today. We're going to talk about 4 classic Christmas comics. I think people are going to enjoy those. Do you remember what we talked about, Breed? It was like a week and a half ago.
I don't remember the beginning of this stream. Yeah, we
There you go.
all right, why am I here? Hulk 378, maybe the funniest Christmas comic since Superman tried to push Fat Santa down the chimney to lose weight. Teen Titans 13, Marvel Team Up #1, and what a shock! My memory only works at about 70.
The Brave and the Bold #1.
148.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
classic,
definitely be
man.
looking out for that, Kenneth. You're going to enjoy it. So thank you very much. Are we done with the Punisher thing? Or does anyone else have?
I got one last thing. Just
I was done with it the moment I saw it.
the Punisher stands for justice. Punisher is simple. He stands for justice. That is the Punisher, and he's never going to go out of style, no matter what Marvel, no matter what Twitter, no matter what Jason Aaron tried to do. He is a simple, badass character, and they don't understand that. They don't understand the Punisher.
You know, he came around at a time when crime was running rampant in the country. You know, that's when you saw things like movies like RoboCop and things like
Death
that. Kind of
Wish.
exploring. Yeah, Death Wish. That's the time that he came about. Jerry Conway created him, yes, but it's not like he created him from whole cloth. He basically was a pastiche of these things that were going on in the culture at the time. And now we've come back to a time in our lives when crime is running rampant in the cities. You know, you're seeing all these smash and grab robberies. You're seeing the homicide rates go up in the big cities. I think the Punisher is more relevant than ever. Unfortunately, he's owned by a company whose executives don't have the balls to fully exploit him.
100% correct, right there. Yes, of all the times, right now is when we need the Punisher the most, and he'd be selling the most.
You murder that guy. Says everybody is right. Merry Christmas. There we go. Mariana Volkanen. I probably butchered that. Wes is right because he has Eric Brain, Skip and Tosh, Aaron Sparrow, and the other aficionados on the panel today. I do associate with myself with very good people. I'll give you that.
Yes, Maranya. She keeps us in line over on England T's channel.
Thanks,
Thank you very
Maranya.
much.
Hi, Maranya.
Thank you very much, Maranya. And then Fatal J, with the most fatal hot takes in all of YouTube, says, smash that like button like Fatal J would smash a bowl of oatmeal. You know what I'm saying? Get on that. Now let's get into some of the best comic series of 2021. Drew, you pretty much read every single comic book that's released. How could you whittle it down to one comic series this year that was your standout?
I had to whittle it down by just the ones that I read that I thoroughly enjoy, top-notch quality when it comes to art, dialogue, pacing, that leave me wanting to come back for more. And the one I had a 1A and 1B. 1A for me was Equilands by J.H. Williams III. It is arguably the best illustrated, most beautiful comic that's come out this year. It is fantastic, and it is a story I love, and I want to go back for the follow-up issues. And 1B is Superman 78. That is just a perfectly well-told comic book story that should have been the third Superman film.
Yeah, I agree with that. That series is amazing. I haven't read the first one that you mentioned, but I definitely agree with you on Superman 78. It's been fantastic. And much better than Batman 89, which does not capture. It does not feel
absolutely.
like that was the intended third film. It feels like that's just
No.
something out of modern day. But
Yeah.
Superman 78 knocked out of the park.
All right, Aaron, what's your series of the year? Is it Superman 78, or do you have something else to bring to the table here? Aaron?
Oh yeah,
Is it Superman 78 as well then? Is your
Superman 78
best?
for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Skip, let's hit some indies. I know you're going to be an indie guy. Are we getting some Jonathan Hickman for your series of the year?
Nope. I'm sticking with the mini deaths of Layla Starr by Ram V. So picking one of your guys.
Man, Wes was right. I'm the one that told you need to start reading Ramsey, right?
I mean, I'm not going to get on board for that propaganda, but I'm thinking Ram V.
You need to market those shirts, Wes. Wes is right. You know, you need to have those.
Everybody wants a Doc is right T-shirt. Nobody wants a Wes is right T-shirt.
Yeah, where's Doc at? He's always right.
I'm a promotional vehicle for Doc and his opinions.
You can put them on the shelf next to the new Punisher logo shirts and see which one wins.
We do have Lane Kramer says, Merry Christmas to all. Thank you very much, Lane. Glad to see you here. We got Comics Perch with an enormous super chat. Thank you so much, brother. Merry Christmas, everyone. A very blessed holiday to Wes and the family. Thank you for the friendship this year. Well, thank you. People don't know this, but Perch and I actually talk behind the scenes a lot. I haven't really got to talk to him in like almost 3 weeks because he's got a bunch of stuff going on. There's a Comic-Con. He's been moving and everything. So I've been having withdrawals here, but hopefully in the early part of 2022, we'll get back together and do a lot more work. But I do appreciate, thank you so much for supporting the channel, Perch. And I definitely appreciate your friendship. It means the world to me. And I'm glad that we've been doing this together. We pretty much started our channels within like 2 months of each other. And we've obviously been collaborating for about 2.5 years. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That's very generous. And if you're not subscribed to Comics by Perch, you're doing comic book YouTube wrong. Just putting that one out there.
Yeah.
So what is it about the many lives of Layla Starr there, Skip? What's the story?
The story is the goddess of death has been demoted because a child was born that is going to come up with the cure for death, making people immortal. And her gift is that she will be sent down to live out the rest of her existence as a human being. Simultaneously, there's an engineering student named Layla Starr who does not feel like she's in control of her life, but has kind of been following all the beats that everyone told her to up until that moment of having like a celebratory party with the rest of her engineering class. She jumps out of a window, being a shooting star of flesh all the way down to the ground. And then the goddess of death is put into her body. And through doing so, the goddess of death learns about life through living a mortal life. And she, this is not a spoiler, but she doesn't know how to live a responsible mortal life. So she ends up getting killed and accidentally killing herself over and over again. The god of life, a friend of hers, brings her back and through doing so and her trying to find this boy that has been born and take them off the table so she's relevant again and gets her job back, she learns about living life. So it's a beautiful tale. The duality is really interesting. It's vibrant. The line art is awesome. A lot of symbolism in it. It's a beautiful tale and it's a celebration of life. So I suggest everybody check it out.
Definitely one of the hidden gems out there. Now let's go over to Breen. You don't really read a lot of new comic books. What's your best comic series of 2021? Is it Millie the Model?
Yeah, I like the juxtaposition to the guy that reads everything to the guy that reads nothing.
Well, you read comic books. You read comic books every day. You're just not reading modern
right.
comics. You're saving yourself.
Right. So what's the best comic book that you've read this year? It doesn't even have to be current year.
No, I said I did read a few things, and I'm going to go with the Reckless series.
Yes, Brubaker.
Two of them came out in 2021. The first one was December of 2020. And I said, I know I'm a huge mark for, Brubaker, and yes, Skip and I do a criminal cast with Ash. I mean, that's how much we like him. And we've done, I think, all three of these, haven't we, Skip?
Yeah, we've covered all three so far.
Yeah. And I just think they're, brilliantly done. I mean, since they've gone to this format instead of, eschewing the individual issues and just going to the, I guess the deluxe hardcovers, whatever you want to call them. Started with Pulp, and now then into the three Reckless books, and each one of the three, I think, have just, like I said, the first one was fantastic. Second one was maybe a notch below. The third one, first time I read it, I thought, hey, you know what? They seem to keep getting a little bit less, but then we talked about it for a couple hours and realized, no, this is probably the best of the three. And this would also be my book of the year too, since there's not a lot to choose from. But I just can't recommend it enough. Anybody that's not reading, Brubaker, again, is doing a disservice to themselves as a reader.
Absolutely. We've got a couple of super chats here. We got Kenneth Dowling. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Which of you have seen Spider-Man No Way Home? I'm seeing it again later today. Very good movie.
Yeah.
All right, Skip. So you cried twice. Aaron, how many times did you cry?
5 times, Wes. 5 times.
5 times.
Man tears, okay? Every single tear was a man tear. Every single tear had like the weight of a full human man's testosterone in it, okay? Just know that.
It was the every tear that Skip shed was like that manly tear that runs down the face of a Native American when you pollute.
It's one of those ones every single time. 5 tears, Wes. Only 5 tears, okay?
I did not cry, but I did. There is one moment in the film where
You
I
choked up, though. Don't lie.
I choked up. Yeah, no, I choked up quite a bit. And the thing that surprised me is it was tied into a Spider-Man franchise that I did not like at all, and they got me. They got me because it just there was a lot going on. It felt like redemption for that franchise. It felt redemption for the actor. It it was just one of those moments where you were like, wow, this kind of like they really took a shit sandwich and turned it into something great.
Man, Skip, that's 6 tears. I saw that. You tried to turn your head. Dropped another one.
The internet never forgets.
just thinking about it.
All right, Josh, what do you think of Spider-Man No Way Home? Were you impressed? Well, maybe he left us. All right, you Drew. What'd you think, buddy?
I really enjoyed it. It's arguably the best film from Marvel, I would say, since Endgame. I know it's mostly a Sony film, but it's arguably Marvel's best film since Endgame. And to me, Willem Dafoe steals the movie. I love Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin in this, and he was amazing. The fight scenes they were terrific with him, and at the end is it even greater. Loved it. And where Peter is at the very end of this film is where he should have been the whole time. Loved it.
Yeah, it fixed every. It has the potential to fix everything that I have not liked about the MCU version of Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
Very good. Does anyone else have any final words on Spider-Man No Way Home? You
Go see
bounced
it.
out there, Josh.
If my internet
We
will
all dance
cooperate,
around
yes.
spoilers. We're all.
I know. I keep cutting out. I'm just like, well, I was gonna say Aaron's moment that he was discussing is the moment that resonated with me the most in the movie, and I think that's all to the actor involved and just great performances all around. Like the performances were absolutely incredible. You had a lot of actors that just like took full advantage of whatever they had. And then it's just a fun movie. It has a ton of problems when you break it down, but it's so much fun. And what I loved was how reactive the audience was when I was there. So,
yes,
it's kind of what you want. Like you want that type of experience and you want people talking about movies, and it's projected to cross $1 billion today worldwide. So, I think that speaks volumes.
Like today or today, the projection is that it will hit $1 billion.
That's amazing.
You know what? I need to go back and reread it.
Okay, just the way you said it, it sounded like it's happening today.
COVID is no longer an excuse for these movies
No,
failing.
I think
it might be because it did
described it is that
the first weekend, so it might happen. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if it didn't cross it this weekend. It's
normally they drop 65%, but it got such strong word of mouth. I wouldn't be surprised if it stuck around for 50.
I want to go see it again, and I have not. I have not been to the theater to see a Well, no, I take that back. My friend took me to see Black Widow, but if he hadn't taken me for like my birthday, I probably would not have gone out to the theater to see it. I had just lost interest by the time that it came out. And I didn't see Shang-Chi, didn't see Eternals, but man, I'm gonna go see Spider-Man again. I'm gonna go give Sony that. Sony's the big winner this year, aren't they? They did Ghostbusters Afterlife, which people loved, gave fans what they wanted. They were successful with Venom 2, even though I did not like that film, but I still somehow enjoyed watching it. I mean, I can quantify that with I was sitting there with Jesse Snyder, and we kept looking at each other and laughing and going, someone made this decision, and then someone else signed off on it. And so like that was like the entertaining part of that film for us. But that made a ton of money. and now this. So yeah, Sony has knocked it out of the park where everybody else has kind of fallen flat on their face.
We do have Marvel 2099. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. 20 pounds, very generous. Merry Christmas, everyone in chat and on the panel. Hopefully we get better comics next year. Not looking too good so far. I say Balderdash. We got announcements that the sequel to We Live is coming out and the sequel to The Kill Lock. Two of my favorite comic books that have been released in the past 24 months. And in Barbaric, it said the next chapter was going to come in 2022 as well. So those are three of the best, indie comic books that I've read in the past 2 years, all getting sequels in the next year. And I'm excited for every single one of them. But if you're counting on Marvel and DC, you may be disappointed.
Yeah, I really love The Kill Lock.
Oh, that's so good, isn't it? It's like, he's such a good artist. I don't know how, emoting robots is hard.
Yeah, Remendelli's great. He was a super nice guy too. I was on a panel with him once, and he could not be a nicer guy.
That's cool.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard him speak. Does he have good English speakings? Because I believe he's from. He's
American. So he.
Oh, I thought he was European.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, you wouldn't know it. You'd. I don't actually know his background, so I can't speak to it. But I will say that he speaks like someone who's been here his whole life.
Okay, because I was thinking about reaching out and see if he wanted to come on and talk about comics. So maybe.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Bullet for apprehensive. But he's one of those people I would love to talk to about that. So thank you very much once again, Marvel 2099, and everyone supported the channel. We've been very generous today. I'm actually surprised. I didn't think we would have this many people. We completely honest on a Christmas live stream, so we're up to 150.
And Wes buys us all eggnog with the proceeds. So.
Oh yeah, this is eggnog for everybody. We got Callum Lyle supporting the channel. I hope Chavez, I'm talking about America Chavez and Doctor Strange 2, will be a likable character and not another Karen. Also, who's Shuma Gorath and Gargantos?
It's a
The
Conan
monsters?
villain, I thought. Shuma Gorath.
Mm-hmm.
I geeked out in the trailer when I was like, it's Shuma Gorath, because they've been teasing it for the longest time. All the tentacles and what if, and he's the big octopus guy with the single eye in the middle. If you played Marvel versus Capcom, you'll recognize him, although he's shrunk down considerably.
Yeah, hopefully they do fix America Chavez like they did with Kate Bishop within the Hawkeye series. I think they've really revitalized that character, and hopefully this is one of the few times where I go, I really hope Marvel Comics follows Marvel Studios' direction with this and really revamps the character and goes with the version that we've gotten in that television show. But thank you very much for that. We got Wesley D. That is a fantastic name, sir. You, sir, have a fantastic name. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Long-time listener, first-time super chatter. Thanks to Wes and the crew for everything you do here. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you all. He's definitely been a long-time listener. He's in the comments so much. And thank you for interacting with the channel and always coming in there and supporting us. I really appreciate that. And I hope you are having a fantastic Christmas, sir.
He's got a great avatar. Wesley Dodds, Golden Age Sandman. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Very cool stuff. We got Cal Lyle once again. It's optic. I think he means topic. Don't worry. We go off topic a dozen times during a topic here on the show, let alone during the entire live stream. What would you do to make Storm the Wonder Woman of Marvel and someone who earns being above average, but no what kind of wedding? What's interesting of Eric Breen is Storm was kind of bigger than Wonder Woman. She was the leader of the X-Men. She was certainly more important, was leading a comic book that sold more than probably any Wonder Woman series has ever done, but they just kind of threw her by the wayside eventually.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why. It's for some reason, X-Men characters, with the exception of Wolverine, just don't seem to do well when they're given their own series. And they tried a couple miniseries with her in the 90s, and it didn't go anywhere from there. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't make more of an effort. And now that I think they've done irreparable damage to the character, so as they have with just about all of them. So I don't know what you could do to fix that, but and honestly, Wonder Woman is about the only female character, for whatever reason, that's ever been able to last more than, I think the second longest has been a couple Catwoman series. So I don't know why. Maybe they're gun shy to do that, but I'm surprised they didn't just branch her off on her own series. and give it time to grow, because there's a lot there. And with the
All
build,
right.
I mean, tons of guest stars you could use in any. I don't know.
Sparrow, you are a professional writer. I mean, you're on Young Justice season 4. That's a pretty big deal. It's going to be on HBO Max soon. Your episode hasn't quite come out yet. You won't give us spoilers, but you are a successful writer. What would you do, sir?
Well, the interesting thing about Wonder Woman is she is the most iconic character that has the longest running series, that has the least amount of stories that you can point to and say those were really great stories. She transcends kind of the mediocrity of most of her runs. I think that I tried to write Wonder Woman when I pitched a Justice League Unlimited continuation at DC, and she was really a central focus of it. The relationship between her and Batman was going to be a big part of that series if it had been picked up. So I think that there's ways to write Wonder Woman and make her incredibly interesting, and they just don't tap into that a lot. As far as Storm goes, I think that Storm definitely had her time under Claremont. Claremont loved Storm, loved that character. I think that was his waifu before that term was in usage. I think that he really wrote her with a lot of majesty and respect, and I just don't think that any writer who's handled her since has really handled her the same way. I think maybe Lobdell did a pretty good job of taking what Claremont had done and kind of continuing on with it, and continuing the level of respect for the individual X-Men characters. But I agree with Breen. I think that the damage that's been done to the X-Men, and even to Storm in particular, that most of the X-women in particular, it might be irreparable. I mean, I think we had the last gasp attempt at revamping the X-Men when Hickman came on, and then it seems like Jordan White just bungled that and completely derailed it. So I don't have a lot of hope for the X-Men anymore, and it's a shame, because that is the series that really got me into the larger Marvel universe and made me a huge Marvel fan.
We got Kenneth Dowling chiming in. He wants to know, Drew, where did you get your ugly sweater, and where can you get it?
My ugly Venom sweater. I think I bought this at a convention. I saw it somewhere a couple years ago, and that was the end of it. You go to conventions, you find some cool shirts, cool sweaters. I got this at a convention, and yeah, I haven't
Are
seen
you
it
willing
since.
to sell it to Kenneth Dowling?
I don't know, if you back the retailer tier Born of Blood, I'll send it to you. How about that?
I just like the idea of you coming into a party and just being like, "We are Christmas."
Christmas.
We've got another super chat from Kenneth Dowling. He says, best comic series of 2021, Superman 78, hands down. I'll put it up against anything out there. And Spider-Man No Way Home is at $870 million as of now. So it might very well break $1 billion over the weekend, since it is a holiday. Breen, you didn't read Superman 78, right?
I did not.
What do I have to do to get you into Superman 78 today? Tell me what I have to do to sell you on this comic.
What does Wes have to do to get you into the surf and turf? Come on.
That's one of those that I kind of wish I had. Sometimes I miss it by not reading any of the new stuff. I miss the few good things that do come out, and I'm sure it'll come out in a trade, and I'll probably pick it up then.
If you do that, and then also get the Maestro stuff from Peter David, you're going to love that too. It has nothing to do with my modern comics.
Here's where I get kicked off the channel. I was not a Maestro fan when it was original. I was
There's
a huge
nothing
fan
wrong with that, but the new series is really good.
No, I know, it's just I was a huge Peter David fan of his Hulk run, and when it kind of when the Maestro kind of overshadowed it, I don't know. There's something about it just didn't resonate, for me. I mean, I know it was good, and I know I'm in the minority, but I thought about picking that up, and then I realized that I wasn't that big of a fan the first time.
All right, this is what I want for the viewers. If Eric Breen is being a fool for not reading Superman 78, let him know in the comment section. We've got to shout from the rooftops and say, Breen, we know that you sold out on new comic books, but there is a comic book that is your hope. It's called Superman 78, and you're going to love it.
I already acknowledged that I dropped the ball on that.
All right, well, we want you to go out and just go buy the books.
Well, he's trying to get you shamed, Breen. He's trying to shame you into going out and actually buying the book.
Well,
I want
here's
shame
the
on
problem.
Breen to be a thing on the channel. Just
Here's
like
the problem in
Right.
2021. If something takes off, good luck finding the individual issues.
Yeah, because the print runs are so low.
Yeah.
And
so
by the way,
I'm-
how is Peter David not on more books? He's still solid. He still delivers on whatever it is that he puts out.
Bingo.
None of it in continuity. All of it in continuity 30 years ago.
yeah.
Well, which great because the continuity now sucks, and I can't even imagine trying to keep up with. You've got characters that appear in different books, and they have completely different personalities because there's no editorial offices anymore. It seems that like oversee characters. No editors that are sitting there going, no, that character wouldn't do that. No, you can't use that. That dialogue's not right. That used to be the way that it would go. If you were, using Storm in Avengers, it would have to go to the X office so that they could sign off on it.
Yeah, and now in the X office, Storm, this past issue of Sword, she blew some heads up. She blew up like 5 heads of some guys. It just like Akira style. And it's like, what the hell is this? This is not Storm.
None of the X-Men are the X-Men.
Yeah.
That's why, I was hoping that the whole
All right,
thing
this
was,
is supposed to be a
gonna
positive segment, fellas.
No, I was hoping that it was going to be a big, that we were going to get the big plant reveal, that they were all replaced by Krakoan plant people, and they were all contained, in stasis pods down underneath, so that you could, you could tell this story, but then you could still return them to being heroes. But there's no going back. They're segregationists, and they're all horrible. They're all terrible people. They're not
villains
heroes anymore.
They are officially villains.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get back to the best comic book series. Once we get through these super chats, we got Wayward. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you too. Really appreciate that. We've got Callum Lyle. I hope Morbius will be good, and I really hope She-Hulk will be good and fun. But I also want to see more Hulk movies. Jared Leto, sometimes he nails it, and if he doesn't nail it, he doesn't nail it. You know what I mean? He's just one of those actors. Breen, you are the biggest She-Hulk fan that I know. Are you going to get a Disney Plus subscription so you can watch the She-Hulk series, this show? It's based on the John Byrne stuff.
I kind of have Disney Plus.
Well, there you go. Are you going to watch it?
I probably will. I did see WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. I just haven't gotten around to Loki or Hawkeye yet. And
skip Loki and just go right to Hawkeye. You'll be happier.
Yeah.
All right. Sound advice.
Yeah, Loki is just held up by the charm of Tom Hiddleston, but he's not given the greatest stuff to do.
But I will say this about She-Hulk: the lady playing Jennifer Walters. If anybody's seen the show Orphan Black, where she played about 13 different characters, and would sometimes play one of the characters pretending to be one of the other ones, and you could tell, absolutely brilliant. And it took like 5 times. They finally gave her an Emmy for it. That lady is, she's very, very good.
Well, sounds like Breen is on board for She-Hulk. Yeah. So that's a good sign for such a skeptical human being. We've got Lade Kraber. Wes, you missed my comic best of the year comic. Did I? I will go back and try and find it. I apologize for that. We got Jordan Fugate or Jordan Fugate, depending on if he's in the mob or not. Merry Christmas, Wes, and the rest of the Comics Aficionados. Thank you all for a great year of content. Well, thank you so much for supporting us. Really appreciate that. And I'm telling you, once I get all my stuff together and I can finally tell you what I'm planning for 2022, I think you're going to be excited. Skip knows a little bit, but he doesn't know everything. That's all I'm saying. And even he said that was it'd be smart if you did that. So I want to be smart. Now let's see. Why don't you guys talk while I try and find this thing from Lane Kraber?
Well, you have to give us a topic, like early Hungarian cabinet making.
Well, I was gonna jump in on 2 things. One, what Breen was saying, Tatiana Maslany is the main reason I'm excited for She-Hulk. Like, I'm right there with you on that one. And the one addition I'd make to maybe watching Loki, aside from Tom Hiddleston, is I think episode 5 when we get classic Loki. Well worth it.
Yeah.
Like, that was the highlight for me. Other than that, by far the worst series.
I really liked. I really liked. West, for me, I enjoyed Loki more than I enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier just felt really. It felt like it was disjointed to me. I know that they, and we've discussed this in the reviews when I've talked to Skip and Wes. It suffered from the pandemic and them having to do massive rewrites because that was. I think they were going to adapt Remender's story with the virus that was being spread, and they were like, "Oh, we can't do that." So there's a lot of reconfiguring, and I don't think that it came together well. And I don't think that the characters were consistent, but there was a lot of enjoyable things. I mean, probably my favorite moment in that is where Zemo is talking about how this album really speaks to the Black experience in America, and Sam has this great reaction where he's like, he's out of line, but he's right. It's like,
Yeah.
Like he shouldn't be
Zemo was
speaking
the
on
best
this,
part of that show.
Yeah, he was really great, and the
All right,
interaction
Josh.
between them.
You appear to have good internets right now. Do you want to talk about your favorite
right now
comic series for your best comic series of 2021?
Yeah, I figured since I'm viewed as the Batman guy, I should take a Batman route. So I'm gonna cheat with one, and it's Batman the Imposter. Yeah, absolutely. Best book out there. No, I'm gonna say Batman the Imposter because we talk a lot about writing. That's kind of cheating because it's only 3 issues, but incredible writing by Mattson Tomlin, incredible art. It does some egregious things if you're looking for a traditional story, but it's just a well-written comic, and we don't get a lot of well-written comics. But if you want to go with an actual series, I would say Ram V's Catwoman. If you want to go the Batman route, it is consistently good. It was good before we started this year. It was good during Future State, which sucked, and it was good kind of throughout. And I'm sad to see that it ended, and it ended quickly and kind of just on a But just he did so much with so much with supporting characters, really built this world, and I think it deserves attention. And Catwoman doesn't necessarily get the attention she deserves sometimes. So
Ram V's actually turned out to be a pretty good brand. Like if you pick up a Ram V book right now, he's you're
gonna get solid work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got
I was just say Made in Korea.
Made in Korea.
I'll throw an indie out there.
All right, so I did find the super chat. I'm sorry, late. I must have missed that the first time. But he says the best issue is Superman Red and Blue #5. The worst was actually Superman Red and Blue #1. That's a mistype on that one. And Generations, my favorite story of the year. And miniseries is King in Black. That's pretty crazy there. I know, Drew, you were an enormous fan of Superman Red and Blue #1. It's going to be in my top 10 stories of the year.
Bestest ever. But I got more to say about Superman Red and Blue #5 a little later. So
all right, so
I just want to go on record on saying that Dan Waters and Danny's story from Superman Red and Blue #1 is very underrated, and this is from someone who could care less about Superman these days.
Well, that thing is overshadowed by the John Ridley story where he had Superman being raped in a prison camp.
Exactly.
It's unfortunate for Dan Waters and Danny. They're doing great work on Arkham. Was it Arkham City?
The Order of the World.
Yeah, Order of the World. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. So there we go. Those are our best comic series of 2021. Let's get back into some comic book news. We saw that Dark Horse was sold. Basically, Dark Horse Media, which includes entertainment, Dark Horse Comics, and there's a collectibles part of it. They got sold to a Swedish gaming company. Obviously, you're in the business here, Drew. You're a comic book retailer. What did you guys think about Dark Horse being sold and so quickly? I think it speaks to the power of the brand and how healthy they are compared to some other comic publishers that are for sale right now.
It's the dream, isn't it, to be bought up by a multimedia conglomerate or a video game company? You can be an IP farm. It's the dream. Everyone wants that now. We're waiting to see what happens. I mean, hopefully Mike Richardson is able to stay in his own corner, keep Dark Horse, let them keep doing their thing. But I personally, I hate seeing news headlines like this. I really wish this stuff wasn't happening. I don't like it, but it is.
You don't like change?
We fear change.
So what did I say earlier? The moment that your comic company is gobbled up by a larger conglomerate is the beginning of the slow decline.
Yeah.
It's definitely absolutely happened in the past. We do have someone that we have to give a shout out to. This is Jerome, who's been on the channel several times, also known as Doom Mega. Merry Christmas to all the viewers and my Thinking Critical family. Skip, Josh, Aaron, Master Historian Eric B. Oh my goodness, he's got a new nickname now. Dolan and Good Brother Wes. Dolan obviously being Drew.
Good Brother Wes, you got to put it up. You got to put it up, Wes. You got to put it up. Too sweet.
Breed, is that your like rapper moniker? Are you Master Historian Eric B? Throw it down the
I'll take it.
Eric B. Yeah, shout out to Jerome. What's up, Jerome? Doom
Absolutely.
Mega Doom.
Looking
I
for
love
Rock,
Mega as a name. I think that's
looking
fantastic.
for a Rock Him. Anybody?
I'll be your Rakim.
There you go.
He's the only reason I'm here right now, anyway. Oh, and Aaron Sparrow too.
Oh, okay. We did talk about this before we did one of those reviews. So thank you so much, Jerome. He's a great guy. If you don't follow him on social media, you're missing out. He's one of the more fun follows there. Just a super sweet guy. I don't see that a lot of dudes, but Jerome, super duper sweet. Just put that one out there. What are you thinking, Josh? Obviously, you're covering the news and the headlines for your website. Does this Dark Horse thing upset you? Does it feel good? Something in the middle? You don't care?
One, you'll have to ignore my dog if you hear my dog in the background. I apologize. She's going crazy. I'm with Drew. I think it's upsetting. I mean, there are pros and cons to when you have these things happen. You get the benefit of potentially more capital coming in. But I do think you tend to see creativity stifled. And that's what concerns me. I think with Dark Horse and where they are, this is something they need. And I think you're probably going to see a lot of features of, I'm not too familiar with this gaming company, but if they have any games that there are theirs and independent, I would say expect to see series, because they're probably going to want to push to get a series launched or a film launched. So I would say, yeah, look for comics to come out that route. So it could be a curse. It could be a blessing. It could be both. And I think we'll have to wait and see where it goes. But I'm very much in the same mindset as Drew is. Usually it just typically means creativity gets stifled. And I think that's what we've seen from Marvel. We got aligned with Disney and even DC when they were aligned with Warner Brothers. So
they bought Cryptic Studios,
not the
too,
best outlet.
The video game developer Cryptic Studios. So there's a lot of they gobbled up a bunch of companies in like the last week and a half. At Dark Horse being one of them. So I mean, there is a chance that maybe we'll get some good content. It doesn't necessarily bode well for the comic side of it, but we might get some good video game content.
Yep.
We might get a really good Hellboy game maybe. So that's exciting. But overall for comics, it just whenever you hear that they've been purchased by a bigger company, you're like, well, here we go.
Yeah, definitely. What did you think about how it went, Drew?
What went?
Like, or Dark Horse being sold?
Oh, my heart sunk when I saw it, when I read that, just because I've always loved Dark Horse. It was that perennial independent comic book publisher, back in the 80s and 90s. That was the one everyone wanted to go to before Image. And then you see this happen. It's like, it feels like, oh my God, they caved, they gave in, and it hurts seeing that.
Well, Mike Richardson's getting older. I'm sure that, it, and the realities of the market, he's probably looking at that and saying like, wow, we really need somebody to come in and kind of like carry on what I've built. Because, who knows how much longer he wants to do this. But yeah, it's as a fan, it's disheartening because that it has a much larger chance of being a disaster than it does of leading to better comics.
Yeah, not saying it's going to be like a Valiant Acclaim, like when Acclaim bought them. I'm not saying it's going to be like that, but you never know.
It's true. Breen, any feelings on Dark Horse being sold?
I was just going to say that, you brought up Acclaim buying Valiant. That was probably the last time a comic company got bought out by somebody, and we actually got a round of good runs from the characters. So I thought the first batch of books from when Acclaim owned them was very good, but I don't have a whole lot of hope for this. From what little, and I admit I don't pay a whole lot of attention to this stuff. So I'm not a gamer, so. But there's not a whole lot of really good books coming out these days, and I don't think this is gonna, I don't know that this will change that.
Didn't Acclaim end up getting gobbled up by another company as well?
They did.
Do we know who that was? I gotta see. We need like a Matt McMuscles on the channel just to come in for the the video game portion and tell us.
So this entire industry is like that film they used to show where the fish kept getting gobbled by bigger fish.
My worry is that the industry is becoming like a human centipede.
Feels like that sometimes.
It looks like I was going to say, it
Is that
looks like
the
Liquid
Circular
Media
Firing Squad?
Group.
Yeah, Liquid Media. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
The Canadian company. I'm not familiar with them.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard of him. Okay, let's see. We got a super chat from Kenneth Dowling. Hopefully Dark Horse can keep their original team and do good work, but company buyouts don't usually work out well. Yeah, it's true. It doesn't usually, Kenneth. And to that point, Wes just recently had on Matt Kent on the channel for an interview, writer of Berserker. He did tons of stuff. Exo Manowar runs and Rye runs at Valiant when it was under Warren Simmons and Dinesh Shamdasani, and when it was really praised for for their connected universe and the quality of their stories and the art. And he does a lot of work through Image, a lot of his creator-owned stuff, and stuff that he does with like Tyler Jenkins and another number of other people are all done. He does it all over at Dark Horse, and I like it because he's one of those creators, kind of similar for my affinity for Howard Chaykin, where he's like, I kind of just fell out of interest with doing superhero stories, and I just want to do my own stuff. He found a place at Dark Horse to any idea that he has, pretty much it seems like they just let him do, and he doesn't have to rely on the big two to like pay his bills. He comes up with an idea. If he can't find an artist for it, he can just draw it himself. So the first thing that I saw when it was announced that Dark Horse got purchased is, man, he talked about how he doesn't have to worry about editorial interfering over there. He can just tell the stories that he wants to, and I hope that continues. I don't want there to not be a space for creators like Matt Kent, who constantly turn out books that they really believe in and are good quality books and interesting stories, to not have, that blank check to just keep doing the stories that he wants to do, once Dark Horse is under new management. So that part was a bummer for me. And then the upside was, to the point that Aaron Sparrow was making, Mike has been running that for so long, and he is getting up in age. It's a sign that he's done good work, that someone else wants to come in, and pay him for his efforts and the thing that he, created and has been running. So that's the positive and the negative, I guess, for it.
All right, fellas, I'm sorry. There's a few super chats I'm going to get to here, but we do have some breaking news I just caught while I was taking a whiz. Perch has torched Neil deGrasse Tyson live on Twitter. Neil deGrasse Tyson, of course, ruins every holiday and basically anything that you love with his facts. He said, if people left carrots, celery, and hot tea for Santa on the table instead of milk and cookies, I bet he'd be much, much thinner. Perch's reply, quote tweet, from the look of it, someone needs to start feeding Neil carrots, celery, and hot tea.
Oh,
Well done, Perch. I salute you.
Yeah, I commented on Neil's Santa comment yesterday, where I said, like, if you distilled, well, actually, down into one miserable human being, it would be Neil deGrasse Tyson. I remember he never responded to me, because I think Neil is a fire and forget Twitter user. He's so delighted with himself. He puts out his little bon mots and then, goes away and giggles, aren't I clever? But he put out that it was around the time that he had an appearance in Batman versus Superman. And he said that, when you think about it, Daredevil shouldn't be the blind superhero. Batman should be the blind superhero because he's a bat. And I wrote back to him. I said, bats aren't blind. Aren't you supposed to be a scientist?
So very good. Thank you so much, for Perch, for torching Neil deGrasse Tyson. He deserves it because he is a curmudgeon that tries to ruin holidays for children. Now let's get back to your regularly scheduled program. We do have a few super chats that we need to get to. We've got Cal Mile. Do you think, honestly, there will be more Hulk movies? Because there's that rumored World War Hulk. I would like to see him go against Red Hulk. I think that they can't do Hulk solo movies because of some rights issues, or at least they couldn't. I don't know if those have come up, and maybe it's reverted back to Marvel. Obviously, Josh would be more informed on this. He covers more of the wide spectrum of entertainment. Is that the latest what's going on with Hulk, Josh?
Yeah, as far as I know, Universal still technically has the rights for Hulk. Marvel can use Hulk and other properties. I think there was something where it was coming up to an end recently, or potentially came to an end, but I'd have to look back into that. But as of right now, I do know that leading up to this point, they didn't necessarily want to do Hulk movies because they'd have to do a partnership like they're doing with Sony. And if you can use Hulk in your own products without making an actual Hulk movie, without having, I said Sony, Universal, without having to partner with Universal, then why not just go that route, which is what they've been doing. So maybe in the future you
World
might.
War Hulk in Thor Ragnarok. Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get a there. They've already announced that we're going to see Red Hulk in She-Hulk. Like, you're going to get more Hulk. They've said we're going to see a lot of Hulks in She-Hulk. So I think you're going to get your Hulk feel throughout the Marvel universe. It's just it's probably not going to be a Hulk movie or a Hulk series. And
I'm in favor of more Hulk, but less Ruffalo.
Yes.
I want Ed Norton back. Yes. the better.
Well, if we could just go back to Ruffalo Avengers Hulk, I'm down. Like, I thought that was excellent. And since then it's just gone downhill.
Thank you very much.
That says Mark Ruffalo.
For support of the channel. We've got Kenneth Dowling chiming in. Hopefully Dark Horse can keep their original team and do good work, but company buyouts don't usually work out well. The good thing is they are keeping Mark on is essentially to run the company, at least in the short term. So that does provide me with some type of optimism about this moving forward. But there's always is that little thing in the back of your head that, you know, once you're part of a big corporate entity and you're the comic book part of it, you're going to be a little bitty piece that's not all that important. But they do they do have a lot of manga that are going out that are selling very well, obviously Berserker and stuff like that. So we shall see. Hopefully it goes better than, I don't know, that it has happened other places. We do have Federico De La Casa. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. At least when Acclaim bought Valiant, we had Warren Ellis Solar, Quantum and Woody by Christopher Priest, and Magnus by Griffin, Exo Man of War by Bart Sears. Yeah, but Acclaim essentially ruined the Valiant universe. The only good thing about that was they devalued it to such a degree that Dinesh was able to just buy it and sit on it for a few years until he relaunched it.
And now look at how great it's doing.
Well, he made a lot of money. They had to buy him out.
Yeah, no, he did. I mean, he did well in the short term, and then. By the way, I'm going to say something controversial. I don't think any of the Acclaimed Turok games were ever any good.
Yeah, the N64 one was nah at best. Yeah.
Everybody looks back with rose-colored glasses and they're like, "Oh, that first Turok game," and I'm like, "I hated that game."
All right, we got a geek fight for Kenneth Dowling. Hero fight of the Ninjas, Ninja K or Ninjak versus Snake Eyes. Who wins? I'm an enormous fan of Ninjak, but Snake Eyes would absolutely destroy him.
Wait, are we talking real Snake Eyes or are we talking Henry Golding movie Snake Eyes?
We're talking comic book Snake Eyes. This is the comic book channel. This isn't the things that Paramount destroys channel. What do you think, Aaron? Who wins?
Snake Eyes definitely Snake Eyes. I'm a big Snake Eyes fan. Actually, Wes, I have a Snake Eyes that I need to send you because I know you love him as much as I do. Yeah, if you guys ever get a chance and you can pick up any of the G.I. Joe omnibus or the collections, go back and read those early issues from issue 10 to up around issue 40. There's some really great Snake Eyes Storm Shadow stuff in those, and with some just gorgeous art by guys like Rod Wiggum. Just an amazing run that Larry Hama has had on that title. So, even if you're not a G.I. Joe fan, go for the kick-ass Snake Eyes stuff.
Get Snake Eyes Declassified. You can see Snake Eyes in Cobra Commander running around beating people up and stealing money. It was fantastic.
I'm a big Cobra Commander fan too.
Yeah. So, Bree, what do you think? Who wins, Ninjak or Snake Eyes?
Why'd you ask me that?
I don't know. You're the big comic historian, man. You've read more comics than any of us put together.
Yes.
There you go. Apparently, Bree doesn't like ninjas.
No, I've read Ninjak. I've never read G.I. Joe comic in my life.
Well, I just said you need to read issue 10 up through issue 40. See if that hooks you.
Right. That could be your comic series 2022.
Are you talking the original Marvel series or?
Yeah, original Marvel series. Although the IDW's done a ton of reprints and things like that, so you could probably pick them up pretty cheap.
That's okay. Well, I said I'll see if I can find some.
There's just some really good. Did you enjoy? Breen, did you enjoy Larry Hama's run on Wolverine or any of the other? Have you read any other of his work?
I've read the Wolverines and I did.
Mm-hmm.
I was never really big on licensed properties. Yeah, because I was such a superhero fan of the Marvel and DC stuff that I never really branched out. So I mean, I've not read a lot of Predator, Aliens, Terminator, things like that. Just never really read a lot of them.
G.I. Joe was my comic gateway drug. That was what got me reading comics, and because they do the commercials on TV, which were really successful because it was it was an animated version of the comic book that you were going to get, little teaser. And so I got into that, and then through that I was looking, they'd run the ads in there, and I was like, who's this Wolverine guy? Who are these X-Men? And next time I was at the newsstand, I grabbed a copy of that, and then I was hooked. And then of course Batman '89 was coming out, a few years later, and I started picking up Batman books, and that was my gateway into the DC universe. So yeah, I mean, I think that it's a shame that we don't get that kind of advertising anymore. It's a shame that comics aren't on newsstands where kids can find them.
So really, the only license, the one licensed character I actually did buy when it came out was Godzilla in '77.
Well, that is an excellent choice. So I'm gonna say that.
And you have to be really old to have been there to make it.
We do have another super chat from Brody Mullet. Appreciate everyone on the panel. Thank you for giving us an escape in the form of comic discussion every Saturday morning. And we didn't miss one this year, and I had a baby. That's crazy. I'm shocked that we actually did 52 episodes this year. And then Merry Christmas to all. Well, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Really appreciate that. I really appreciate all the kind words. If you enjoyed the discussion and you haven't given us a thumbs up, we're almost at 100. So if we can get over 100 likes on this, I'd really appreciate that.
Be a nice Christmas gift for Wes. Here we are on Christmas. Taking time out of our schedule. Wes is paying us time and a half. To be here on a holiday.
Wait a minute. What?
Well, I mean, time and a half. It's of nothing is still nothing.
So we're getting nothing.
Eggnog.
He did
nothing
promise
and a half.
us, time and a half. Yeah, we're getting a glass and a half of eggnog.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. And then Kenneth Dowling says, G.I. Joe comics cartoon, real Snake Eyes, of course. Absolutely. Real Snake Eyes is, I think he Snake Eyes versus Batman. Now that's a real competition. Like, I don't know who's going to win that one. Although you did get to see that in that Batman Fortnite comic. That was like the one real big highlight for me. Personally. So I really like that one. So thank you so much for supporting the channel, Kenneth. And we got anything else? Do we have anything else to say about the Dark Horse thing? Or is it time to talk about our favorite Christmas movies? All right, let's get into our favorite Christmas movies. Breen, everybody's here for the Breen Show. What's your favorite Christmas movie of all time?
Holiday Affair.
Huh?
That no one else has heard of. It's a Robert Mitchum, Janet Leigh movie from 1949.
Man, it's just ruined the stream. Look, Sparrow hasn't moved since you said that. I think Aaron Sparrow may have actually frozen up here.
Oh,
yep, there he goes.
Boy, he really didn't like that choice.
Yeah, he really upset it with that. So, what is it about Holiday? Is it Holiday Affair?
Yeah,
that you like so much. What's
okay? It had Robert Mitchum playing a genuine good guy. Basically, it's this lady played by Janet Leigh. She's going to marry this guy played by Wendell Corey, who is also playing against type because he's a nice guy in this movie. And she plays a comparison shopper who buys a train set from Robert Mitchum and with the intention of taking it back the next day. But she has a 6-year-old son who thinks the trains are for him. She takes it back. He's supposed to report her. He doesn't. He gets fired, and they end up, striking kind of a friendship, and then he falls in love with her. And he just keeps running into her over the holidays and with the intention of stealing her away from her fiance. And it's one of those where the two guys that ended up competing for the woman are both really good guys. So but it's lighthearted, but there's some serious undertones in it. There's a comedic scene where he gets arrested, and Henry Morgan plays the cop that's listening to the stories, and it's just a good movie. It's just something I watch every year, and I'm a huge Mitchum fan anyway, and it's just neat to see him playing somebody. It's one of those movies you see him in where he doesn't kill anybody. But I think it's for whatever reason, I said I've probably seen it 4 or 5 times now.
According to Roddy G, that you can watch it on HBO Max, and he says it's awesome. So you get an opportunity, I'd say go give that one a gander. I have not seen that one. Maybe I have HBO Go. Maybe it'll be on there. All right, Josh, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
So I got to go with a childhood classic and say Home Alone for me is one of my favorite Christmas movies, just because I love the shenanigans of it. I don't know. I've always kind of wanted. I've got 3 older brothers, and we were always trying to be mischievous and prank each other. And that movie gave me a lot of inspiration to set them up and do some potentially terrible things to them. But no, it's a lot of fun for me. Other than that, I would say Batman Returns. Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman. You can't just pass that up.
You may remember this, Josh. You remember, like, if you would go to McDonald's and for an extra $3, if you bought a Big Mac, you could get a copy of Home Alone.
Oh, I don't remember that. I thought you were going the Batman Returns route with the little cups.
They did that with Home Alone. And my grandma bought that movie and she brought it, home. And then my little brother watched it 140 times in a row. I was like, please stop watching Home Alone. I can't take it anymore. And he didn't ruin the movie for me, but it was ruined for a few years. Oh, that is nice.
Ooh. That's what I have for you.
That is nice.
That and it also comes with timber.
Oh,
Very cool.
That's very sexy right there. So yeah, Home Alone's great. My 6-year-old loved that one. Anytime you get adults beating up or getting beaten up by kids, he loses his little mind over it. So we watched that one this year and loved it. We've got a couple of super chats in here. We got Kenneth Dowling says, Die Hard. I don't care what anyone, especially John Campia, says. This is a Christmas movie. Charlie Brown comes in second. Die Hard is absolutely a Christmas movie. It's about a man that's trying to make amends with his wife and family so he can be with them on Christmas. That's the story.
Yep.
Whether there's terrorists involved or not, the story is about him wanting to reconcile for Christmas.
And again, who gives a crap what John Campia has to say?
He's
lost all
Agreed.
credibility.
Oh, God.
So absolutely, you are in the right there, Kenneth Dowling. We definitely had Die Hard in the rotation today. We got Roddy Boy Comics staying up late with me here in the Philippines. How about Batman Returns? Love that movie. Absolutely. Obviously, Josh had already named that one off, but Batman Returns does have a big-ass Christmas tree, and we got a lot of decorations in there. Very wonderful choice. And we got Mr. DC Comics. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It's very generous. $20 obviously goes a long ways these days. Thank you so much. If you could compare Spider-Man and Superman, you'll see that the two have a lot of similarities. Not the powers, but as Clark and Peter Parker. Yet people always seem to only see powers of Superman and not the person. Why is that?
I think it's because
I think
it's because Peter Parker's kind of more of a he's got a rougher life. Most of Peter Parker's life is like he's struggling financially. He's trying to take care of his aunt. He's got more human responsibilities like weighing him down. And Clark Kent as an individual, although he has the Midwestern values, being raised by the Kents, he's in a higher pay, at the time, which was a higher paying job. Now, if he was a journalist, he'd be doing $5, articles on BuzzFeed.
On Substack.
Yeah. If he were a successful journalist, otherwise he'd be writing $5 articles on the Mary Sue and eating cat food.
Well, also Spider-Man is a little bit. He's not quite as impervious as Superman, so I can say that. But I'm with you that I think Superman's completely relatable, and I don't get the false notion that you can't write Superman nowadays because he's boring. That's just bullshit, Josh.
Oh, agreed. I think for both characters, I think what stands out, and if you really understand and know the characters, is their humanity. Like, that's what resonates with people. Spider-Man, I think being a younger teen, college-age person is what resonated with younger audiences, especially kids growing up. But Superman, just in general, someone trying to be a better human, especially with him not being human, I think that's what kind of resonates with him. And I think the people that only see the powers are the people that don't understand the characters. But yeah, when you look at those from two different perspectives, how can you not relate to these characters? So I think they're great characters for that reason. I think that's why they've stood the test of time and will continue to stand the test of time if people get it right.
If you want to see Superman done right, get Superman 78. Obviously, we've already discussed that a little bit earlier. Who else has got some Christmas movies? Skip, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
I'm not sure. Josh definitely mentioned one that I was going to mention with the Batman Returns. I'm not really sure. Skip is not really a holiday cheer kind of guy.
Bad Santa.
I've never watched Krampus before in my life. I'll give a comic for Christmas since I can't really think of a lot of movies. Sleigh Bells, most recently by Zeb Wells over at Bad Idea, was a heck of a Christmas comic book. So if y'all can get your hands on that,
Santa Claus murdering people.
Yeah, I just remembered that series. I just remember that comic. Oh my god!
As soon as Skip said it, see, I hadn't heard of that comic because I don't pay a lot of attention to what Bad Idea does because nobody around me carries it. But as soon as he said it, I was like, it's going to be SLAY, sleigh, right?
Yep, that's right.
You guys remember the Lobo paramilitary Christmas special where Lobo fights Santa Claus?
Yep.
In a knife fight. Yeah, he and Santa have a brutal knife fight.
Awesome.
We've got a super chat from Kenneth Dowling. For those who think Superman is boring, again, Superman 78, read any Superman by Dan Jurgens, but I do love Spider-Man, my favorite next to Batman. Read Superman Up and Away. That is less about Superman and more about why Clark Kent is the hero behind Superman. The reason Superman is a hero is because of Clark Kent and his morals and his values. He was going to be a hero no matter what, is the kind of the moral of that story. Yep. And I think if you read that, you'll have a better understanding of the character and more appreciation of why the character stands out and does stand the test of time. So great call that one, Kenneth Dowling. Who else we got? We've got Drew. What's your favorite comic book? What's your favorite Christmas book?
I've got two. Both of them weren't high up my list, but as I've gotten older, I'm really loving these films because one of them is very true to life. I'll say that for my second one. My first one is Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Yes.
I really love that movie. He is terrific in it. And one thing I've learned is that women don't really like that movie Scrooged, and which is interesting. Guys like it, women don't. I don't understand why. It's an interesting concept to me. But Robert Mitchum's in it as well. He's great in that. But a second one to me, I'm really enjoying because it's very true. If you have extended families, it's Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon. They're having to go to his mom's house, his dad's house, and then go to her mom's and her dad's house. It's great.
Yeah, that's definitely completely relatable. All right, Sparrow. I know that you're pretty much in the Christmas spirit 365, but when we actually get to Christmas, you probably like the Whitney Houston terrible music that goes on. What's the movie that really gets your juices flowing? I
can't even think of a Whitney Houston. Did she do a Christmas album?
Mariah Carey. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I used to
that song.
I used to walk out of a store if that song started to play. It's because it was so ubiquitous. Like no matter where you went, it was playing. Now I've learned to appreciate it. It is a well done song. And they don't play it quite as much as they used to. Least favorite Christmas song is going to be Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. I want to track down and beat with a brick everybody involved in that song. I hate it so much. As far as Christmas movies go, I'm a big Christmas movie fan. So, Scrooged is really high on my list. I don't know that I've ever quantified any of these because I just love Christmas movies so much and the general feeling of Christmas. So Scrooge is high on my list. Of course, I love National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Coming from a very dysfunctional family, that that resonates with me quite a bit. I think that obviously Die Hard, Gremlins, really good films to watch at Christmas. I even like watching Irving Berlin's White Christmas, which is just a weird peek into the movies of yesteryear. But I watch it every year and I have a good time with it. So I can't make the call. I can't say which one's my favorite. I celebrate the whole catalog.
Kenneth Dowling said, someone said Lethal Weapon. I'll make it my number 2. You get Christmas music in there, and there's certainly Christmas decorations. There's a big action scene in a Christmas tree parking lot. You could make a
Yeah,
case
you could basically name any Shane Black script because
Yep.
Long
Iron
Kiss
Man
Goodnight.
3.
Long Kiss Goodnight is a great. There you go. That's a Christmas
Oh
time
yeah,
movie.
Long Kiss Goodnight is great.
Mhm.
That was fantastic. Good call. That would so as me personally, my appreciation for Christmas movies has changed up until several years ago. It's always A Christmas Story, Ralphie, something I could really relate to as a kid. Christmas is bigger than life, and you wanted that one present, you're never going to get it kind of thing. I can completely relate to it. But now that I'm actually married and I got my own kids and stuff, I'm much more on the Christmas Vacation bandwagon where I'm seeing Christmas through a father's eyes, and no matter what you do, everything's going to fall apart. There's going to be a goddamn typhoon that comes in, or something's going to happen. They don't have the present that you wanted, and you're just trying to keep everything together. So I see myself much more through the eyes of the character in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation now that I'm older. So that was probably my favorite now. But for a long time, it was A Christmas Story. It was my favorite. Although, who is it? Is it TBS that ruined A Christmas Story by putting it on for 24 hours?
Yes.
Yeah, that's them.
Why do they do that? It's just like it's
Some
too much
great
Christmas
modern
Story.
choices. Klaus on Netflix is fantastic. They just put up. I think it's Aardman Animation. A little short film called Robin Robin that is a really nice Christmas movie. And just because Wes and I talk about this stuff all the time, I'm going to recommend Trash Truck Christmas on Netflix.
That is absolutely a worthy choice, my friend. My kids love that one. Trash Truck is one of the sweetest series you'll ever find on Netflix. And if you got kids, if you haven't watched it, go watch it with them because you're going to enjoy it as much as they do, I think. All right, Josh, you have plans on this Christmas Day. You gave us a little bit of your morning. I do appreciate that. Do you have any comic book recommendations before you head out or anything to say to the viewers?
No, I mean, mainly just Merry Christmas. If you do want to read a Christmas book, especially a Batman Christmas book, I highly recommend Batman Noel by Lee Bermejo. It's a great story with incredible art. Other than that, Merry Christmas. If you get to see your families, go spend time with your families. I've already got some rowdy family members here. I think they're making, sounds like margaritas. So I'm sure it's going to be a entertaining day, but I was happy to spend the morning with you guys. Aaron, Breen, Drew, Skip, Wes. Merry Christmas. Thanks for having me for 2 hours. Bad internet.
Merry
and all.
Christmas, brother. Appreciate it.
Continue.
All right. So it's time to talk about Spider-Man. I know you've been loving this. Uh-oh. We've got Kenneth Dowling. I still like A Christmas Story. Oh, fudge. That's the downfall as a dad. Is like, is my kid going to realize that he's saying the F word? And that's why he's eating a bar of soap and gets soap poisoning. You never know.
I just love the whole bit about where did you hear that word? And it's like the narrator, like, my father had said that word. Like I'd heard it, but I couldn't say that.
Yeah, so it's Flick. You're going to hear him getting beaten on the other end of the phone. Oh, come on. Yeah, that was one of the great moments. So let's get into this Spider-Man Beyond. I know I haven't been loving it as much as you have, Drew, but Spider-Man Beyond is coming to an end in March. We didn't know when it was going to be over, but we did know that it was going to be leading essentially to a Spider-Man reboot with whoever's going to be the writer to replace, essentially Nick Spencer. Are you sad about this?
I am crying on the inside. It's just all my tears or emotions are on the inside, unfortunately. It's been heartbreaking. The last issue by Saladin Ahmed was arguably the greatest Spider-Man story ever told. I'm kidding, of course. But
I was gonna say,
like,
he's baiting us. There's no way he's serious.
This whole Beyond storyline, it's good. It won't be the most revered, but it won't be the most reviled. It'll probably wind up down somewhere in the middle, like when Spider-Man created all those different alter egos in the late 90s and early 2000s to fight crime.
Oh, the Slingers, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to end up being maybe someone will mention it in passing, but I will say this. I've already started reading the comics for next week. The Patrick Gleason comic for ASM that he wrote and drew for next week is damn good. I sent you, Wes, one of the pages from the book. It is damn good. And
is it Chip Zdarsky, Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man 310 good?
Yes. I'm going to put it up there. Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
All right. That's one of the best comic issues in the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
The problem with the writer's room approach to these comic book stories is that you're tying your best writers, or, your better writers that are on it, to your worst writers. So you're saddling Patrick Gleason with your, your Saladin Ahmeds and, your Kelly Thompsons, who aren't at the same level. So I'm happy to see this passing away, and I hope that they just put the entire Spider-Man franchise into the hands of one competent writer. But I don't have any faith that they're going to do that. That's not Marvel's current way. Their way is to just hand people books and flood the shelves. So I don't know that anything better comes after this.
All right, Sparrow. So basically, in the solicitations, it says you're going to be surprised who you're rooting for in the very final chapter of Spider-Man Beyond, indicating they think you're going to be rooting for Ben Reilly to defeat Peter Parker. I say Peter Parker could behead Aunt May, hold it up there on the front of the cover, and you'd still be rooting for Peter Parker just because you love the character so much more than Ben Reilly, unless you're Yellow Flash.
I mean, I think you're probably right. I love Ben Reilly. I loved him in the Jurgens book back in the day after the whole Clone Saga debacle. I didn't think that he was the real Spider-Man. I hated the idea that stories that I'd been reading were of a clone and that they had shuffled him off. But in and of itself, I enjoyed the character of Ben Reilly, the way that Jurgens presented him. And I think that they did themselves a disservice at the end when they just decided to kill him, because you can't have two Spider-Mans. Of course, now we have 75 Spider-Mans, and they've diluted the character ridiculously. But, and if you're going to do that, then I think there is room for Ben Reilly. I always liked the idea of depowering him rather than killing him, and just having him around as someone that Peter could talk to. And I think that's one thing that, no, I'm not going to say that, because that'll give away spoilers. But, I think that's a really interesting idea, is Peter having a brother who kind of understands where he's coming from. And I think you can tell some really interesting stories with that, and you can kind of change the Spider-Man status quo. But again, will they have the courage to do it? And this whole thing about, I don't know, it just feels like marketing hype to me. You'll be surprised who you're rooting for. No, I probably won't. Nothing that you guys have promised me in the last 5 years has been true. So why would this?
So Drew, you've been reading these every week, and you've been recommending when we do the show. Are you going to be rooting for Ben Reilly? Can they do that to you?
I don't know, but I mean, it's going to be hard to root for him after this issue coming out next week with Peter. I mean, it is a damn good issue, and it's like, what's terrible about this is so inconsistent. Like Aaron said, you have good writers and artists, and you have terrible artists and writers working on this. Like, every other week it's changing up. It's like, this is not right for Spider-Man. This is not the way it should be done. And it really makes me wish Patrick Gleason would stay on as both the artist and writer of the series. And
I believe he'll be the artist. I have a feeling it's going to be Zeb Wells as the writer, but I could be wrong.
I hope not. Because Patrick Gleason, he wrote and drew this upcoming issue, and I would love for him to stay on. I mean, it's a great issue he wrote.
Well, he was also co-writing Superman when we had that great Superman run in Tomasi.
Yeah, it was really damn good too.
And he's written maybe the last good Captain America comic. There's only one page, and it was in that stupid Marvel Comics 1000, but that was the best Captain America I'd seen in 10 years.
I gotta find that now.
give Patrick Gleason. I mean, I don't know, how do we campaign to get Patrick Gleason more work?
Listen, if I campaign to get Patrick Gleason more work, they're going to fire him. I don't think Marvel likes him. We got Kenneth Dowling says, I will always root for Peter Parker, F the others. That's what I'm saying.
What if he slapped Mary Jane again, like he did during the Clone Saga, backhanded Mary Jane? Would you root for him then? There's got to be a line. You got to have a line somewhere.
I just said he could decapitate his aunt that everyone loves. It basically is his mother, and he could, present it to the audience on the cover, and I don't think they'd still root for him. So I don't think that would do it. Peter makes mistakes, Aaron.
Is beheading somebody a mistake?
It was it, yes.
It was accidental. The web line, it was dried and crusty, and she walked right into it. I didn't.
Oh man, Chillmonger says depends on what MJ said.
Oh, damn, Chillmonger!
My goodness, that was
bringing the the regressive
Bring the
comedy,
heat.
or the transgressive comedy there.
Boy, Aunt May did a number on you.
I don't know. What do you think, Breen? Does this take you back in the day to the Clone Saga and Ben Reilly and Peter Parker? Do you wish we were still in that era? What are your thoughts on that one?
I'm still visualizing Peter Parker holding up Aunt May's head, Kathy Griffin style. Now, you say Clone Saga, I mean, I go back to 1975, where I thought that was, very well done. And honestly, bloated aside, the one in the 90s, I don't deride nearly as much as a lot of people who've been around that long. I mean, it definitely got too expansive. It definitely, and they were smart enough to at least, when they did it, they were going to do that. Ben Reilly was the original Spider-Man all along. But here's something for you younger viewers: they listened to the fans who weren't having it, and they course corrected. They left themselves with just enough out to where it turned out it was Peter Parker all along. I got to admit, I haven't read much of this. I came back on for the end of Spencer's run, and I tried to read one of the issues of Spider-Man Beyond, but it was one of those, as Aaron pointed to, where they're Drew, where they have. I read one of the bad writer, bad artist one, and it was about the Daughters of the Dragon, and Morbius looked like Kurt Wagner's mutated cousin, and it was all LOL, so random. And I realized, and then there was the lady with the shaved side of the head that is so rare in modern comics. And I said,
2016's mental illness haircut that somehow still exists in comics.
Yeah, I guess it's now been promoted to danger hair. And I go, nah, there's a reason why I stopped reading new stuff, and so I was noped out again. But I may, on your recommendation, I may pick up the one this week, because yes, it's hard. You do this for 45 years. It's hard when you can't justify buying a Spider-Man or a Daredevil or a Fantastic Four. Well, I would never read anything Slott does, but that's beside the point. It's because I haven't been around for this long without really loving these characters, so it would be nice to actually care about them again.
It's hard. This is the thing that they don't grasp when they say, like, oh, the fandom is toxic. Is the fandom loves these characters, and the fandom in a large way knows the characters better than the writers that they hire. They bring people on just for whatever reason, not because they have a good idea, or that the editors come up with an idea now and they assign it to somebody. And you've got editors who have no business being on the creative side, deciding on storylines, Jordan White. And then they hand it off to a writer who, the writer's not passionate about it. It's just a job. And so the writer then says, well, how do I tell my stories, the things that I want to do with these characters within this framework of this story that I've been given that I have no interest in? And then they're off to the races. And so we don't get anything good out of it. And then the fans object and they say that they're toxic, but the fans love these characters. The fans know these characters. The fans want this stuff to be good. And they're like I've said before on the channel, they're giving you free market research as to why you're not making as much money as you could be, why your product is failing. It's all that feedback is given free. And a smart company would, as Marvel did in the past, when they heard from their fans that we don't want Ben Reilly to be the original Spider-Man. We don't want you to invalidate all these decades of Spider-Man stories that we've read with Peter Parker. They listened to that and they course corrected. And now, out of stubbornness and their hatred of the fan base, they will double down on the terrible idea that's going to cost them money. Because, it's at the end of the day, it's not their money. It's Disney's money that they're wasting, and it doesn't affect them, they don't think. Eventually it will. Eventually it comes around and, the heads roll. But, for the longest time, they've gotten away with it. So what difference does it make? Tell the fans to, go to hell. Give them things that they don't want, and watch your sales dip, because sales don't matter anyway, right? The message matters.
Well, that's what you had a good point. So that, to me, the modern writers tell their story. They're not telling the story of the character they're writing. They're telling their story, literally. I mean, self-inserts have become so prevalent in modern comics that it's in. I said, if this is the direction they want to go, that's fine. I just don't want to be told that I'm a bad person for my reasons for not reading them, because I can go back to like those retrospectives we do every week. You see how much different they were back then, and there's just a totally different way of telling stories that I just happen to think was better. But it's hard to convince fans that think that 2012 was the big bang of comics and everything started after that. How do you convince someone who's read Squirrel Girl, One Punch, and Galactus that the Galactus trilogy from 1965 should matter? And that's just kind of where we are now with and to bring it back to Spider-Man. I said it's just I thought Spencer's last couple issues came the closest to making me feel like I was reading something from the 70s again. And it's just I don't see that with what I read from the post Spencer run.
To Spencer's credit, a guy who course corrected, a guy who heard what was being said, and then he said when he was prepping for Spider-Man, he went back and he read all those Spider-Man stories, and he just immersed himself in it, and he approached it saying, what kind of good Spider-Man stories can I tell? And that's what he tried to do. Whether you think he was successful or not, you can feel that intent behind it. That's what he tried to do. And I think that that's what any good writer that takes on one of these properties should be doing, is they should be saying, if you're coming on Fantastic Four, you shouldn't be saying, well, what kind of Dan Slott stories can I tell? You should be saying, what kind of Fantastic Four stories can I tell? And I definitely agree with you about the self-inserts. That's something that's got to die. The only time I've ever put myself in a comic book, Silvani and I made fun of ourselves and then we're torn apart. So I think that's the only way that you should ever put yourself in a comic book or do a self-insert, is in a very self-deprecating way, because you should be, in all things, you should be humble, and when I come on this channel and I say I can tell a better story than the people that are working today, that's not out of any kind of like ego or hubris. That's just the confidence of knowing what I can do. But at the end of the day, I'm also very humble to the fan. I try to be very humble to the fans. If someone comes and tells me they don't like a story that I wrote, I will try to find out why, because they may have a very valid point. You get very close to the work. I often say that, please tell me why you didn't like it. That doesn't mean that you'll convince me that I didn't like it, but I want to hear the feedback, because I want to be better and I want to do things that please the fans, when I do write something. So I think that, too many writers get up their own ass and forget about that.
So
Speaking of Spider-Man,
of listening to the fans, Doc was right. Apparently, they screamed for it. We got Doc back on the channel. All right, Doc, how you doing? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Doc.
Merry Christmas to all.
Man, I got Doc the best Christmas present ever. He's reading Batman Catwoman this week, as well as The Trial of Magneto, so we could talk about it on Monday.
Yeah,
lump of coals for Doc.
I know. I mean, I feel like I feel like I did something wrong to deserve this, but I'll live with it.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
All right, Merry Christmas to all here.
What do you think about Spider-Man Beyond? Are you upset that it's going to be ending?
No. No, I'm really not going to be sad that it's ending. Beyond has bored the ever-loving shit out of me. I was really liking Spider-Man for probably most of the past 2 years, until this. I swear to God, it's like every different writer that's on this little, I don't know, carousel of writers. The only one that seems to have a fucking clue what he's doing is Zeb Wells. I remember picking up the one issue and it was Kelly Thompson's issue. And I got 2 pages into it. I didn't bother to look at the writer. I got 2 pages into it and I was like, why does this fucking suck this week? And then I see some purple-haired lady in there whose last name was fucking Danger. I'm like, you got a Danger hair named Danger. Oh. And then I flip to the cover. I go, oh, that's why. And I see Kelly Thompson's name on it. I'm Like, you know, those first couple issues with Zeb Wells, those were really fun. I could tolerate the whole Ben back as Peter, Ben as Spider-Man thing, even though it came out of left goddamn field. Yeah, I can tolerate that. I'm like 3 issues behind as a result. Like, I just, it's almost a chore for me to read this book at this point, and I hate it.
All right, I'm giving you spoilers, Doc. Drew has said the next issue, when it comes out the next week, is going to be one of the best Spider-Man issues in several years. Now, that's the spoiler. I do have a Kenneth Dowling super chat we got to get to. He says, Aaron, I won't blame Peter. I blame the writers. I wasn't mad at him for one more day and not the Clone Saga. I'll always forgive Peter Parker.
You blame Joe Quesada.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what we need. Okay, here's the shirts. Doc was right, and blame Joe Quesada. Those are in your merch store, Wes. You gotta put those out there.
Well, I thought, wasn't there an Eric Breen? Like, doesn't he have a hip hop name now? Comic historian Eric B. Yeah, man, it's got all the good rhymes.
You gotta put some flavor on it when you say
Master historian. That's where it was. That's where the twist was.
Master historian Eric B. dropping the sweet beats.
That'll sell like cold cakes.
Well, I remember when Eric B did an album with Rakim, and that was pretty good.
Eric B for president.
Fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I still want the shirt that says, Eric Breen, the best Breen since Neil.
I love it.
Are we done with Spider-Man Beyond? I think we are. We talked about that one in depth, right?
When this past week, Amazing Spider-Man by Saladin Ahmed, it is my running for worst comic of the year. It was so laughably bad. It is just so bad it's good. It's hysterical.
It's worse than
Salad
Child Magneto #4.
Well, look, coming out of a,
Thank you.
I feel like coming in my experience, and art is subjective. So, if you enjoy this, then that's on you. But I feel like reading a Saladin Ahmed comic and then saying, "Wow, that wasn't very good," is like coming out of a whorehouse saying that you just didn't feel loved. I mean, you kind of.
Man, that's a pretty good analogy. Speaking of that, we've got about 120 likes. We've had over 150 people in here for well over an hour. So if you haven't given us a little bit of love, little likes on this, so everyone else knows that this is a great video, I would definitely appreciate it. That would be your Christmas gift to me, and I would definitely appreciate it. I'm sorry I interrupted you already, Doc.
No, it's fine. I mean, look, it's a Salad Man comic. What the fuck do you expect? Like, I mean. Wow. At this point, I would be more shocked if he wrote something that was actually competent. I know what I'm getting into. I mean, seriously, buying a Saladin Ahmed comic is like sticking your finger in a light socket. You should know what the fuck you're going to get.
Well, I'll take Sparrow's analogy back.
Yeah,
let's get on to some stuff you should read. We're going to talk about the best comic book issues of 2021. Obviously, I'm going to have my top 10 list, so I won't want to spoil anything on that one. We do have a great panel of people here who have been reading a lot of good comic books. Breed, you are up to date on all the comic books. What was your comic issue of 2021?
Well, if it counts as an issue, I'm going to say Destroy All Monsters. Yeah, the third installment of the Reckless. Sir. Well, I don't have it. So you're going to get me on semantics.
Well, it's not like it's a Marv Wolfman 100-page special. That was meant to be a graphic novel. What about Beckstar? I know you're a big fan of that series by Joe.
It is an issue, though, right?
It is one singular pamphlet.
Are we considering Raiders of the Lost Ark an episode of television?
Is this going to be one of those My Channel, My Rules thing?
Yep.
Fuck it, Green, go rogue. That's what we want.
There we go.
We'll have no semblance of order here, and we'll just be burst into chaos. And my favorite comic book of 2021 will be, I don't know, I can't even think right now.
Saga of the Swamp Thing.
1984.
You got Doc and Eric Breen on a stream together, and you're talking about rules and order. This is the wrong stream for that, buddy.
Breen's gone rogue. He's got the mage.
Jesus.
My favorite comic of the year was Thanksgiving Dinner.
There you go. Another green special. Let's not talk about. Oh my
Look,
goodness.
Eric.
All right.
Eric and Doc are basically, we love them because they are the circus elephants that broke their tether and mauled a coolie, right? Like that's why we love them.
Where did the time Shawn Michaels kicked The Rock in the head on the first SmackDown? No one saw it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Man, that was
the heel turn
moments ever. Yeah, we got Kenneth Dowling here. Says Doc mentioning Eric B. Rakim is nice. He knows what time it is. Merry Christmas to you, sir. You are my homie.
Yes, sir.
Word. Thank you, Kenneth.
Mhm.
Love me some
right,
old school hip hop.
I will give you
Heck
a
yeah.
quick answer. The Amazing Spider-Man 74, because at least it put it retconned one of the dumbest things that have ever been done in comics. When Harry tells Norman that he didn't sleep with Gwen, didn't have the kids, and goes, "Are you kidding? She would have more class than that." So that
was a good line.
I will go with that.
Not only is it a good line in the comic book, but that's a good zinger on the writer and Joe Quesada. So that was good stuff on him.
No.
All right, Skip. We need some indie flavor on here. What's your favorite comic issue of 2021?
I'm gonna go with Ice Cream Man issue number 24. It went for an indie comic to go into a second printing on issue 24. I think says something. I mean, granted that they're low print runs anyway, but still, just that it still sold out enough for people to want a second printing. But every issue of Ice Cream Man is different. So in this particular one, it's a fundraiser to try to save. It's a fundraiser to save the life of this guy named Jerry, because his life is falling apart, his body's falling apart, his marriage is falling apart, and all that the Ice Cream Man Ricardus is trying to raise is $3.99 to save Jerry. And they've got the phones are ringing. Well, excuse me, the phones aren't ringing. All the people are there. They're trying to play the music and the entertainment. Like it made me feel like when I was a kid and I was younger and I used to watch all those telethons, of people, like all the celebrities trying to raise money for this cause and that cause. That's exactly what it is. And all they're trying to raise is $3.99. People aren't calling in. Ricardus ends up pulling out a gun and putting it to the head of a dog, saying, "It's on you if this dog dies because you couldn't raise $3.99." Needless to say, $3.99 didn't get raised. So I'll let you imagine what happens at the end. It's not bloody or gory though, but the absurdity of Ice Cream Man, because the thing is, we already paid $3.99 to get the book. So Jerry was doomed from the start, and I love it.
There you go.
That's a good issue.
I thought you were going to go ha number one. I just thought that one was great too.
It was really good, and Vanessa Del Rey's art was really good and such too. But that Ice Cream Man issue number 24, it was just it was thrilling, hilarious, all throughout, and there were so many Easter eggs to previous Ice Cream Man issues, characters, and even the content creators themselves, that every page was just like there was so much to take in from just the story itself. And if you've been reading all the previous issues, it was like full fan service while still making an actual compelling story. It's a lot of the things that we talk about, just not within the continuity of like characters that have 40 and 50 and 80 years of history. But that's part of the reason why I like it, is because everything that we come here and we talk about, we'd like to see done better in the comic book industry, they do in this book. It's just that it's not established characters.
Man, very passionate plea for people to read more Ice Cream Man. We've also got Ronnie Boy Comics, another great show from you aficionados. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to take full credit for this.
I love his
I'm gonna be
logo.
honest.
That is a great logo. You're right, Aaron. That's a good one.
So I think the panel members
I've put together a
have,
stellar panel for you today.
Yeah, he kept me off of it.
I think I brought the big. I was the crowd favorite this week, right? No,
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. No one was asking for more West. They were asking for Doc and Breed. I got to get better at this game. All right, Drew, you've read a lot of comic books. You've made a lot of top 10 lists. You've made a lot bigger skip it lists. Normally, if you listen to you guys' podcast and your YouTube show, what's the best comic issue you read this year?
The best comic issue I read this year was Superman Red and Blue #5. To me, that was the overall best, beginning to end. All three
Now, there's
stories.
2 stories in there that are there's the Daniel Warren Johnson, and who was the other one? It was
Judd Winnick. He did the opening one with
Yes.
Crypto. It was
Yes.
terrific. And the one in the middle too, by G. Willow Wilson, talking about Clark going into a glass store, an optometrist getting new glasses. It was a great story. But that last one by Daniel Warren Johnson, I literally cried reading that because he understood Jonathan Kent, Clark, Jonathan Kent trying to raise Clark, telling him he's proud of him. Even when he falls, he fails, does something bad, just tell him you are proud of him. And it leads to Clark, Superman, telling Earth he's saying, I'm proud of you. That's Superman right there. That is terrific. I loved it. And
when they get Superman right, there's really nothing better.
Yeah. Daniel Warren
Sparrow.
Johnson did. Yeah. I had like 3 follow-ups to that. And Superman Red and Blue #5 because I read so much. Future State Swamp Thing #2. Last Ronin #1. And Transformers King Grimlock #1.
Yeah, those are good ones. That last round of couple was good. I was going to say Aaron Sparrow. Now you can finally relate to Clark Kent because he's went to an optometrist, and you can thank G. Willow Wilson. But maybe not.
And no, you know what? I will thank G. Willow Wilson. That was a fun story. And that's the neat thing about comics fans is that you can come back. Look at how reviled, like we were talking about Nick Spencer earlier. Look at how reviled he was for the longest time, but he course corrected. He came back on Amazing Spider-Man, and a lot of people really liked his run, and we're sad to see it cut short. Chip Zdarsky, he started out, kind of like pegged as the funny guy, and everybody's like, yeah, be funny. And it wasn't really working. And people were telling him, and he course corrected. And now he's one of the better, dramatic writers that we've had in a while. So, I think it's great. So for my comic issue of 2021, I am going to go with Mom #1 from Image Comics. I love me a good garbage fire, and and that is everything that is wrong with modern comics. So just a spectacular dumpster fire to just kind of stand there and watch and go, oh, no, not really.
It can get worse.
Yeah. Oh, there is. That was a false bottom that we were at. We can go lower. No, I'm going to agree that Superman Red and Blue #5 was my favorite comic of the year. Now, I'm not reading quite as many comics as you guys are. So, there's less for me to choose from. But I did really, really enjoy that issue. I think that there was, some beautiful stuff done there with Superman. And like I said, when Superman's done right, there's nothing better for me because I think he's the most aspirational superhero. And that's why I think that so often he gets done wrong whenever anybody says, oh, we're trying to make Superman more like us. Well, Superman's not supposed to be more like us. We're supposed to aspire to be more like Superman. And that's what I love about the character. And that's why I think he works.
We've got Roddy Boy Comics. By the way, I love the Thinking Critical shirt. Obviously, I'm not wearing it now, but I do wear it every once in a while. Hand painted in Boracay, sir. Are you selling those? I am not. It's one of those things where I want to do it, but I'm nervous. Like, does anybody really want a Thinking Critical shirt? It sounds like people may want it, but I need to get it out there.
I'd rock a Thinking Critical shirt, and I'd wear it to shows.
Yeah, so I have an idea to where we'll have the Thinking Critical shirt, and then maybe we'll do something quarterly. Maybe, the first quarter you get a Doc is Right t-shirt. The next quarter you get something else that has something to do with the channel. That's one of the ideas that I'm tinkering with and looking to possibly execute in 2022. But I do have a lot of things on. But I do want to sell the shirts. I do think people would like it. It is a good logo. I did pay top dollar to a pretty good graphic artist who delivered on it. So,
hey, if we get the Kickstarter to 200,000, what do you say? Thinking Critical tattoo?
Oh,
to go along with your Punisher logo tattoo?
I would say let's go to 150, 150K. There we go. I'm going to go to 200.
Let's get that sleeve going.
As long as it's on the inner thigh, that will be a great tattoo for you, sir. Exactly where it needs to be.
Right, so the marble bag just rests right against it all the time.
Marble bag.
Yes. We've got Yellow Spider-Man. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Which Peter Parker dies to introduce Miles Morales as Spider-Man in the movies? Toby, Andrew, or Tom? Do we get Felicia Hardy now that the fake MJ is gone? I don't know what he's talking about.
I think he's talking about the movie. He's asking about the
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We're not supposed to spoil the movie, are we?
Yeah, no, I don't want to get without getting into spoiler territory. I would love to see Felicia Hardy in the movies. I don't think that Zendaya's MJ is gone necessarily. I don't think that Tom is going anywhere. It seems like he still enjoys playing the character. It seems like they still want to go forward with him. And after his movie just made $500 million in its first weekend without China, which I always think is important to say, stop trying to appease China. Make movies that please the audience that you have, and stop trying to go after this audience that you don't know how to reach. I think that he's probably Spider-Man for the long haul, although I think his checks are about to get a lot bigger.
I do too, especially since he's not Iron Boy anymore.
Yeah, that's the best part.
With that, I mean, nothing to do with this movie at all. Just the two previous Spider-Man movies. There's already a Miles in the universe, so
no, not necessarily. There's
the other two movies. There's literally a black classmate of Peter's named Miles, and it's supposed to be Miles Morales. He's already in the movies.
But they did have his uncle in there too, the Prowler. They did that with Donald Glover, and he says, "My nephew lives over there. I don't, right." So they've definitely seeded it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. We've also got a super chat from Kenneth Dowling. His best comic of 2021 is Batman 118. After years of enduring emo, ineffective Batman, it felt so good to read a fully capable Batman handling his business. I hope Williamson could bring back Batman into his full glory. It was a nice change of pace there, wasn't it, Drew?
Yeah, it was. It really was. And like you said, he is a strong, confident Batman, a kick-ass Batman people are going to listen to and be fearful of. And he is going to save the day. No one's going to save him. But a side note, too, if you want to read, counter-programming of Batman to where he is a true Batman, read Batman versus Bigby, A Wolf in Gotham. That is fantastic. That is Batman written to a T by Bill Willingham.
Willingham's so good. I wish that, in my heart of hearts, I yearn for more elementals, and I always will.
All right, where are we at? Are we on you, Doc? Have you given us your best comic issue of 2021?
No, not yet.
There wasn't a good comic issue of 2021, is what you're saying?
No, there was
it's a trial
actually...
of Magneto. I know it.
Yes, it was absolutely No, what it really was Planet-Sized X-Men #1. But that's a tie with Sword #10 because what I really, really, really needed to do was learn about fucking WizKid. Look, Breen already stole my top one, and that's ASM 74/875, because that was probably the best comic of the year. So as a result, I had
to go to Breen first. He's probably read 10 new comics this year.
Yeah, I know. So he definitely he can take that one. I will go with a little more obscure. I'm going to go with a Maestro War and Pax #5.
That's good stuff.
We were singing the praises of Peter David earlier before you came on, Doc.
I love War and Pax. It only barely edged out Hellions 16 for me.
Oh, yeah, Hellions is damn good. It's so sad that it's gone.
Yeah,
everything we love gets destroyed, Doc. They just take it away from us.
They do. We were finally getting a Spider-Man we love, and then they give us Kelly Thompson and Salad Man. We were getting, the Hellions, and then Zeb Wells gets to go and play second banana to a bunch of clowns in the spider office. I feel bad for Zeb Wells. That's who I wish a Merry Christmas to. I wish a Merry Christmas to Zeb Wells. You deserve better, sir.
All right. We've got some other fans. We got some viewers. No fans. I don't have fans. I have viewers. Nobody's like a fan of West. But he's the Fedor Saku says, I love Radiant Black #1. We've got You Murdered That Guy from Canada. Best single issue I read. Batman 431 by Priest. Art by Jim Aparo. It's called The Wall. Just Batman investigating stuff. There's ninjas, detective work, and interrogating thugs. Chef's kiss. Very beautiful. Do we got any more? I think that might be it.
Did Jim Aparo pass away, or was it?
Yeah, he's been gone
Batman.
for 15 years.
Yeah,
it was a Batman. It was. I know that. Or was it Norm Brayfogle that I'm thinking of?
He died too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was recent.
Oh my gosh. Two of my favorite artist runs on Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've told you what comic books you need to read that came out this year that were the best of the best. Let's talk about the best comic books that came out this week. Put a bow on this and get back to our Christmases. I want to say thank you very much to the entire panel. I had a great time. Obviously, special shout out to Josh for coming in. Obviously, he's going out and celebrating with his family and everything. But we had a great time here. I think this is one of the more fun streams that we've ever had, and I think everybody enjoyed this. So I don't know, Skip. What comic books are you recommending this week?
Oh gosh, come back to me. I wasn't ready for this one.
What? You're not ready? Oh my goodness! All right, Bree, what are you recommending this week?
Yeah, go back to Skip.
All right, Skip, what are you recommending this week?
Everybody passes and goes back around to Skip.
I'm like, oh god, because I just got a bunch of comics for my birthday, so I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't even remember what my weekly pulls were because I easily got close to 100 comics in the last few days.
Nice. I recommend what Skip recommends. I recommend what he likes.
There we go. Okay.
Everyone.
I recommend for Vengeance #3.
Yeah, that was good.
And Chicken Devil #3. That's what I recommend. Because Ice Cream Man 27 got delayed because of the paper shortage.
I just recommend getting hundreds of comics a week. That way, you're bound to find. I mean, just the law of averages says there's probably something good there.
For sure. Yeah, I was filling in gaps. I'm collecting all of Jonathan Hickman's floppies, minus the X-Men stuff, but besides the ones I already don't have. I mean, besides the ones I already have. But
you're all over Hickman's floppies, aren't you?
I am all over Hickman's floppies and Dragadas too. Shout out, and well, actually, I can't. I almost spoiled something from the Spider-Man movie. Anyway, yep, that's what I got.
We've got Everett Todd chiming in here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. He says Black Sad Volume 6 is wonderful.
Nice.
There you go. All right, Breen, we're back to you. He's going to throw me back to Skip again.
Well, no, I don't pay attention to what's coming out from week to week.
It doesn't have to be a new comic book. It can be anything that you think people should read. Is it Christmas themed? Is it something to get you ready for the new year? Is it a way to get away from all this crap? I don't know. Whatever you want people to read.
I'm trying to think. I see. Honestly, not
How about Millie the Model? You had a big issue right there.
Not to sound like a shill. I said go back a couple retrospectives ago and say read the Iron Man we just did. We'll throw that out there. Iron Man 130 to 132. I said that's
Iron Man versus Hulk.
Yeah, so I've been reading a lot of single issues. I just actually got an order from my comic shop last night, I said we'll go with that 130 to 132 Iron Man.
Very good choice. We've got Roddy Boy Comics right here. The PI is up at 1:40 a.m. with me. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks, Wes and the Aficionados. You really inspire us to continue with our passion to read and collect comics. More power to your channel. Well, thank you very much, and more power to you, sir. I really appreciate the support. And, there are not enough of us comic book fans here in the PI. They've made it very difficult to support the hobby because if you think it's expensive in the U.S., come to the Philippines and try and be a comic book fan. Everything is a minimum 20% higher right on day one. And if you don't live in Manila, they got to ship it to you. Oh, all right. That rate is over.
Thanks,
Doc,
Ronnie.
What do you recommend this week, Doc?
I actually, oddly enough, after shitting all over Sword number 10, I am recommending Sword number 11. It was actually a pretty decent comic, and
just in time to close it down.
Yeah, that's just in time, so they can relaunch it as X-Men Red.
What a weird, yeah.
This fucking office is so.
Well, at least it's
stupid.
not Tom Taylor's X-Men Red.
No, it's somehow going to be worse. Because I don't think it's Al. Because I don't think it's Al Ewing's.
There you go.
They haven't announced who the creative team is on it yet. So.
That's never a good sign.
Yeah, it's gonna be some jabroni that they pulled out of a. I don't know.
It's gonna be Nadia Sheamus.
It can't be a wrestler. They would never hire a wrestler to write anything.
No, what I was thinking, I was thinking that they were just gonna out of a lesbian bike riding studio. That's where they're just gonna go random. They're just gonna randomly go in there and be like, here, You need to write a comic book for us. I don't read comics. I don't understand comics. I
All
don't
right, Doc,
care.
why are you actually recommending Sword this week? Because we got to wrap this thing up. I got kids. and
It
I got
is
snack to get.
because for the first time, like you actually see what Bran's real plan is, and basically she's doesn't give a fuck about Krakoa and is in the process of trying to make because I'm on her side. I want Krakoa to go away too, and so does she.
I'm
So do
willing
all
to
of
fund
us.
the Sentinel program right now if it'll make bigger and badder robots that are gonna wipe out Krakoa.
Yeah, I'm on Team fucking Orcus, and oddly enough, so is Abigail Brand.
Yeah. Oh, that's the real trailer. You just spoiled it for me. I haven't read that issue yet. Thank you.
Well,
We
fuck
got
you.
Kenneth. I didn't say fuck you. I mean, fuck you too, Doc. We got Kenneth Dowling.
I love you.
Kenneth to support the channel. Thank you so much. You've been very generous. He recommends Black Panther #2 from John Ridley is doing good so far. Still cautious. Debreed, if I may recommend a comic for retrospective, Amazing Spider-Man 248. I found that issue very touching. Listen, if any of you can get me and Breen touching each other over a Spider-Man comic, I'm willing to do it.
Do we really need a Spider-Man comic?
No, but it makes it look better. We're just gushing
And then a
over each
tattoo
other.
of you and Breen touching each other. Another
Owen
stretch goal.
on Drew.
That's 250,000. It's done.
Drew, we're going to have you covered in the most horrific images known to man.
But you're going to make a lot of money. It's going to be worth it.
You know what you really need when you hit 300,000? You need a tattoo of Breen touching Wes that's tattooed on Drew that's tattooed on to Breen.
And both Breen and Wes have tattoos of the Punisher logo. The new Punisher.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. I like this idea.
There's some a lot of deep cuts there. Well, we got the guys at Sigma Comics. Thank you so much. Wishing Wes, Doc, and the rest of the panel a very happy holidays and a prosperous new year. All of you do very important work for comic books, and we appreciate all you do. Well, thank you very much. I have an outstanding email that I need to reply to. I have not ignored you. Things have just picked up. We had a typhoon and all that stuff, but you will be getting a reply from me, if not tonight, tomorrow. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And definitely be looking out for the next issue of Here Comes Calico.
I am really, really confused on what important work I do for comic books.
You keep the
You
industry.
keep things the rosy outlook that you bring to the channel, Doc.
Yeah, sure. That's definitely.
that glass is half full mentality.
I'm pretty sure the glass is filled with piss.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It stopped raining here as soon as Doc came on.
Hey,
Oh, wow!
Saying,
There you go.
goodness.
He's bringing the sun out.
If we can but touch the hem of Doc's garment.
You don't want to touch the hem of my anything.
No, I don't. And we got
one thing I absolutely love about Doc is that sometimes when I listen to him, I almost hear Paul Heyman. And it's like and it's spectacular, and it's like I just want Doc to show up at a comic.
I want Doc
and
to
walk
start
into a
calling me his
panel
tribal
and
chief.
just cut a promo. Just cut a promo on Marvel and then drop the mic and walk out.
I
That's what
say, Doc, I want you to say, yes, my tribal chief. Like,
How about if CM Punk just comes out and goes, "I'm a Doc guy."
I'm a Doc guy t-shirt.
Doc, the only way that would be
I'm burning
anything
the
could be better than
channel
that
down when
panel.
happens.
The only way anything could be better than that panel is if at the end of it you said, and by the way, I've also brought my client, Brock Lesnar. F5s, everybody at Marvel, just right there through the table. Just, Jordan White through the table, CB Cebulski off the stage, Eric Freeport, down a flight of stairs.
I think it's Tom Reward. You almost said Eric Breed. I love Breed. He's the best breed since Tom Breed, right?
Throw me downstairs too.
We got Kenneth Dowling for the channel. Thank you so much. Wes, thank you for creating this platform for comics and allowing me to be a guest on your panel. To the panel and everyone, have a Merry Christmas. Well, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I mean, you're pretty much one of the producers of the show at this point. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate the support and the friendship and everything. So Merry Christmas to you and your family. I really appreciate that. And
Thanks,
we've
Ken.
got
Thank you, Kenneth.
Sigma Comics. And don't forget to support the Here Comes Calico #4 Kickstarter starting on December 28th. You are likely to hear about that right here on the channel as we talk to HH German once again. So definitely appreciate that, and look out for Here Comes Calico coming up very soon before the end of the year. Do we have anything else? Has everyone recommended comic books?
I haven't recommended a comic book yet.
Oh,
Do it.
Aaron, are you going to recommend Darkwing Duck? By
I
Aaron
mean, I
Sparrow?
always recommend Darkwing Duck. And anybody who wants to read that, hit me up on Twitter and let me know. I'll see what I can do. I'm going to actually do a blast from the past here. One of my favorite. If you want to just read a fantastic done in one, it's Captain America 367 original run by Mark Gruenwald. I believe the art is by Kieran Dwyer. And that's the cover right there. It's a great one and done from Accident. It's part of the Acts of Vengeance crossover, but it is Magneto versus the Red Skull, and their confrontation is incredible.
Oh, that is a great story.
One of my favorites of all time.
Is that a John Byrne cover?
No, I think it's Dwyer.
That's Dwyer? Wow.
I think so. Let me see if I can read the signature here. Looks like Dwyer's signature.
Okay.
Now, did anybody ask, how did he get out of there?
Oh, out of the well, I don't want to ruin it for anybody who actually goes and reads it. But how did he get out of the situation Magneto left him in?
Yeah.
He had a subcutaneous silicon tracker, I believe, and Crossbones eventually found him.
Sounds complicated.
Well, I think it wasn't metal, because then Magneto would have detected it and ripped it out of him.
I do need to give a shout out to my main man, Tim Lim from the Butter Dome. He sent me these badass Arby's shades. You may or may not see me cutting some promos wearing Arby's gear in the days and weeks ahead. Look at this thing. This is absolutely terrible for recording a video on because I can't see colors now. These things are absolutely fantastic. You cannot get these in the Philippines, baby. So thank you very much.
Wes, that makes you look like you're the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
You have no idea how much I don't like Bret Hart. I don't like to say that in front of people because it gets them very upset when I say Bret Hart is a shitty. It was one of the worst
You
promos
don't like
of all time.
the excellence of execution? What?
No. No.
I'm
I'm rooting for Hulk Hogan over Bret Hart. Let's put it that way.
I look
Look,
at that.
Bret Hart always put on a good match, and he never hurt anybody in the ring.
Well, I'll
Never
give you
injured one of
that.
his opponents.
That's 1/3 of being a wrestler. The other part, the other 2/3 is your personality and your promo ability, which he had neither.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have to. I have to agree with Wes on this one.
I can't argue with it.
I always took Sean in the Sean Brett,
Well, yeah.
issues because Sean had the presence.
Then Skip
Right.
was like pretty upset there for a moment. I don't see him often where he wants to jump through the screen and kick me in the head and give me some sweet chin music, but he almost did there. We got a question.
No,
for
you'll
Doc.
get a sharpshooter, is what you'll
Yeah,
get.
sharpshooter, man. Sharpshooter.
Whatever. It's the Scorpion Deathlock. Whatever. Don't get me started on that. Doc, you murdered that guy wants to ask, what should I wash?
Well, my initial response to this would be yo ass, but but it's Christmas, so
Your Christmas.
wash
ass.
wash your taint too, and maybe the coin purse as well.
Oh man.
See, I called it the marble bag earlier.
Wes screwed Wes.
Wes
My goodness.
Wes.
Terrible. Oh, we've got people unsubing over the Bret Hart stuff.
Yeah,
Well, I don't like to talk about it here on the channel. I know
Yeah.
it's a controversial opinion that gets people upset.
Yeah, what is this? The Manila screw job? Like, what are you doing over here, dude?
I didn't like Lex Luthor either, or Lex Luger. I'm sorry.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, okay.
Luger had the clothesline and the torture rack, and that was it. That was his whole repertoire.
Yeah.
Yellow Spider-Man says, "Do you think Spider Andrew will get a third movie? And if so, do you think that will happen? He meets Felicia Hardy or Emma Stone, returns to Spider-Gwen. If they're smart, he probably does. It's one of the things people are talking about, but they don't want to spoil. But you know what they're talking about. You know what I'm
now
saying?
that we know that he can shine in a movie, well, I mean, he's been great in many movies, but now we know he can shine in a superhero movie. I mean, why wouldn't Sony want to make that money?
I'm more looking forward to. I think a lot of people are more looking forward to a fourth Tobey Maguire film. I think that's what a lot of people.
I also agree.
Want. That's the one people are looking forward to. But,
Dude, they even made a meta joke about his back.
Yeah.
Yes.
In this fucking movie. Like Toby, do we really want to see another fat Toby? Like where they have to like CGI out his roles because he didn't really want to do the because he didn't want to put in the gym time.
Wasn't that part of the story for Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah,
like, probably in his 50s. It's not easy when you get older. Oh man, we lost Aaron Sparrow again. At least he's smiling. He kind of looks like Santa Claus. You know what I mean?
That's the way we want to remember him, right? Just smiling.
Sorry, Aaron, you cut out there mid-sentence and you were just smiling. You were so happy.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying that we got Dad Bod Spider-Man in Spider-Verse. Why can't we give that to Toby?
Exactly, Aaron.
Let him do it. No, I think that you do another Garfield Spider-Man and you try to fix that. They pretty much fixed that continuity. I mean, it didn't make those movies better, but at least you came away really liking Andrew Garfield, and so do a third movie with him, do a fourth movie with Toby, and then build to a Spider-Verse movie where we get to see everybody on screen again.
Absolutely. So I do want to say this tomorrow. First thing, is it Thursday? Tomorrow at some point, you are going to see a video from Drew and myself where we give all of our recommendations. We're recommending, I think, 9 comic books this week. So if you're looking out for that, that should be a lot of fun. He was very passionate about a couple of comics I haven't even read, so you're going to get some little gems that you can pick out of there. I do want to say thank you very much to everyone. Merry Christmas. I think this was an enormous success. Hopefully we'll be back on New Year's Day. It sounds like maybe. We'll see if we can put it together. And it should be fun. But happy holidays, everyone. Really appreciated this. And we'll see you later. Salamat po.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Festivus.